You're tuned in to Rocktopus at twitch.tv. Hey everybody. Welcome to the stream. Tonight, we can say tonight. It's streamer late yet again. What can I say? Nothing if not lazy. Today, actually, we're going to be just chilling, talking some video game stuff, some news, some controversy. We're joined by a fellow streamer, Rocktopus. It's a dude that... It's a guy that I've... How long has it been? Only like a month, maybe. 2 months?
I guess. I don't remember.
Chill dude. I'll let him introduce himself, like what he does on Twitch, who he is, because I'll do a terrible job. So I'd rather you take it away and let people know what you're up to.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm mostly doing Breath of the Wild, actually. Just did some Champions Ballad, but I'm also trying out some new things, and I'm looking forward for collaboration. So here I am. Look at this guy. Here he is. Here's
Chose
his voice.
the worst person to start with.
Nah.
But yeah, we're just gonna take it easy. We're gonna go through because Gamescom recently just happened. So a lot of things have been announced. I don't know. Do you tend to keep up with the big gaming convention stuff?
Dude, I watch them, but always forget everything.
So,
but
that's because
I don't keep myself updated. Sorry, I don't keep myself too much updated.
I was gonna say that's fine because you're busy actually, working on your day job as a developer. That's why we've got you in today, because you actually can give us some insight as to
That's
how
right,
it all goes.
kids. That's right, kids. Let's make games.
Work hard and dedicate yourself, and then you can get home unsatisfied and exhausted.
Man, video game industry is harsh, that's for sure. But the sort of view and attitude I'm trying to give out people that, guys, you don't really need to know programming or design to make games. Like, if you want to just make a game but not earn money from it, you can do it. And hopefully in the future I can help some people out in this kind of thing, because I remember myself being a dreamer, and I thought, oh damn, I would really want to make video games someday, and I was just stupid enough to try. Now here I am doing this stuff. Probably not exactly what I want to do, which is like making PC video games or for other consoles like Switch and stuff, but I'm making mobile games now. So yeah, and I can tell you guys, in you, Harpy, you can make games as well.
I can make a game.
Yeah,
Oh,
dude,
shit.
you can make. It's
Maybe
it's
we'll
that
have
easy.
we'll have to see. So where would you recommend people start? First of all, let's take gamer Lily something or other. It's 36989, right? They love to doodle. They always have like a pad to doodle with. They're like, man, I'd love to make a game, but I don't have any programming experience. How do I even begin? Like, where would you first say, well, okay, you like to do art, go here.
Dude, that's how I saw myself, like always getting overwhelmed, because if you just go and be like, oh, I need to do this and that, or I have to have this and that skill, you're never gonna go anywhere with that attitude. And that's the thing, you gotta just start. So if someone's doodling, you say, right? Well then you have to find a way how to like just find tools to collect all your doodles into one, I don't know, mashup of something that eventually you'll call a game. It's gonna suck, yes. I'm sorry it's gonna suck usually.
No, I think I want to jump on that point for a second, because I think
Yeah.
that what you just said was perfect, is that allow yourself to fail. Allow yourself to like let the thing you make be complete garbage, because you're not going to learn any better.
Oh yes.
Like,
and that's the thing, you learn that really late, that you have to be a garbage, and it doesn't matter how much you skilled you'll be, you'll still feel like a garbage. So
good to know.
I bet someone out there, in Nintendo, just like making Breath of the Wild 2 and being like, oh man, sucks, shit, like.
Probably, I wouldn't put it past them.
So,
But
exactly.
that's what I love about video games in general. Is it's not, well, with very rare exception, it's not just one person's thing. It's like it sort of takes a village to create something like Breath of the Wild. Because genuinely love that game. I think it's one of the most magical experiences I had with a video game in years. And that was made by like hundreds of people, and they all have different. At least with Nintendo's hiring practice, I think they've said before whether it was Miyamoto is like he looks for people that aren't like hardcore gamers, but people that have diverse interests and hobbies because he thinks that's what makes a good game. Now you can argue that not everything Nintendo makes is perfect, but it is at least unique.
I really like the point that you just mentioned, which is like you have to be experienced, and that's so true. If you really want to create anything, we're talking about video games, but I mean anything, like a poem, a song, a painting, whatever, you have to have a certain experience. So you can't just really sit down and feel like, you know what, today I'm gonna write a perfect song or make the best video game ever. It doesn't happen like that. And usually the best ideas, of course, they come while we live and when we experience. So maybe that's the harsh and kind of sad thing, is that sometimes, you know, the industry takes away that whole, hey, let's be human, let's live, let's put our insecurities, our flaws into a video game, because that's really what makes us relate to each of the character, which is like, you know, their imperfect kind of features and stuff like that, or just experiences, some awkward things. You know, what we're doing now, it's probably maybe awkward a little bit, but yeah, it's an experience, and that's how you make games or any kind of thing. That's what I think.
Well, I completely agree. I think just working life in general takes it out of a lot of artsy folk. Like, I think the best thing people can do is if you're inclined to be kind of artsy, surround yourself with other people that are of the same sort of mentality. It doesn't even have to be like people that are like Rock. I think in one of your streams you said that you used to like do a lot of music. Like you went to university for music, right? And
it's like a conservatory, yeah.
And I know that you had your own issues with that, but generally speaking, I think surrounding yourself with any kind of person, whether they're an artist or they spray paint lampposts for fun.
Yeah.
Being around good-minded arty people that just want to see other people succeed is the most healthiest environment you can ever be put in. Because I think a lot of people are stuck in like their little bubble, their little work sphere, their little like family sphere. But you gotta like branch out.
Yeah, if there's anyone out there who's doing weird stuff like spray painting and stuff, yeah, let yourself know, and I want to be your friend, because you guys are awesome. Seriously.
That's cool.
Yeah, indeed. You're right. People just, you know, they close in their own bubble. And you mentioned about my experience. I did the stupidest thing ever. I closed myself in my own bubble because I never felt good enough at playing an instrument. I thought I'm not good enough to write songs. I'm not good enough to meet people and play with them because they're probably gonna make fun of me and stuff. So I closed myself and I didn't allow myself to experience, have fun in general. And I tried like to really just create a song and it never worked. I wanted to make something unique, something perfect. And that's a very bad mentality, guys. Oh my God, it just goes, you go straight down, hit rock bottom, past that, I don't know, bedrock in Minecraft and fall down.
So because you were like, would you say because you were so fixated on creating this like this one perfect unique song that everyone's going to be impressed by, it was just, that point was just getting farther and farther and farther away from you?
Yeah, it's the infinity, you know, when you're making anything, you know, it feels like, okay, this is the process that you have to do, and then right about somewhere here, it's the infinity. You'll never finish, you'll never, unless you say so, you know, okay, I feel like I'm done or something like that. So yeah, I don't know, but funny enough, I said to myself, okay, this is not working, I should really put away music, not do anything with it, and I joined I enrolled into a multimedia college because I thought, okay, this is the school where I can learn to edit, like animate a little bit, draw, paint, you know, do all kinds of artsy stuff. And then that really liberates you because you're not only doing one thing anymore, and you don't really feel like you need to be perfect at that one thing. So actually stepping away from things and trying something else, and not only can be art, it can be, you know, physics and stuff. You read about physics, and suddenly you find ways how to use that information to make something creative. So that's something that really blew my mind, because I started studying and then I picked up a guitar, and then I'm amazing, man. I remember just playing. I can't believe what's happening. My fingers just moving.
You're like, oh shit, I was this good.
Yeah, I was this good, but all it took is just relaxing and allowing yourself to have fun. And all the songs that I made for a joke, you know, there's a party and everyone's probably, you know, having a good time, had a little bit too much maybe too. You just pick up a guitar, play something stupid, and then next week someone says, hey, can you play that song that you played? It was really cool. I'm like, it's the most shittiest thing I made. I don't even want to remember it.
Yeah.
But yeah, but people want to hear that because it's fun, because it's simple, because it came like with no struggle. And yeah, I don't know, I'm probably going too broad about music and performances, but there's one thing I still want to mention. I also struggled within the band, because the band, you know, their mental health probably was better than mine, because I was always like anxious and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But thing with us, we managed to maintain somehow like a good technique in playing, and we sounded good, but people didn't like us. They just didn't come, and I didn't really understand why. Yeah,
What can I ask quickly, what kind of things were you guys playing?
we did of course, rock and roll, I guess. We did indie kind of rock and a bit of an alternative. So if you want like to know similar songs, we did something like Muse Blaze or Arctic Monkeys. We did that kind of yeah.
I would have been there. Why weren't people showing up? What?
That's the thing. For some reason, people, they not consciously but subconsciously feel other people. So in some case, if you're on stage, you're basically naked. Everyone will know if there's some kind of trouble between the band members or in a specific person who's performing. You know, people nervous. You might not look
people are a lot more
nervous.
perceptive than they think they are.
And that's the same thing on Twitch, I think. You know, you can be really funny and amazing, but people somehow still might not like you, and you might ask yourself, what the hell is wrong with yourself, you know? But yeah, if you have like inner whatever, they'll feel it. And that's the sad but true and pretty cool thing also.
I think that's why I just tell people to just have fun with it. Like, I think it's taken me far too long to realize, like, you know what, like, not everyone is gonna like what you do. And I've seen some people, and if we just go to Twitch for a second, I've seen some people that I've started with around the same time, how they've had a really fantastic growth, but they've just hit that peak and they've got so burnt out that they've just left completely, or they've come back once and be like, actually, yeah, it's definitely not for me. And you sort of idolize the people, like, wow, look at how much they're doing, and like how well they're growing.
Yeah.
But they were never really like enjoying it. Not to say that they never enjoyed it, but it was more about the grind, the hustle. And I've never, I don't know, maybe that's because I'm lazy or what it is, but I've never been about that. It's like you've got to enjoy it.
I'm jealous of you, man. I'm jealous of you. I'm the guy who's just sitting here and like being smart, like, listen, kids, you gotta enjoy it, right? But that's the same thing I keep telling to myself all the time. And it's easy to say, oh yeah, I enjoy this. This is so much fun and stuff like that. But you always get caught up into something, you know, you start thinking about numbers, you start thinking about how you look, you start thinking whether this is actually, I don't know, beneficial or weird or anything like that. You know, I still get caught in these things. Yes, I agree totally.
I won't sit here and say like, oh, I'm immune to all of that. No, that's not what I'm like trying to get at.
Because even now, I remember myself, I think I was like 14 and I'm 6, almost 7 now. But year 13, I was like, oh, I would really want to do YouTube one day, or yeah, later on I discovered Twitch, so I was like, oh, I really would want to do Twitch. Yeah, I'm 26, I just started. It just took me so long to begin.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I feel the same way, but about guitar. Like, it's sort of 15...
I see that beauty in the corner right there.
That's the cheapest acoustic guitar you could ever buy. It's dreadful. I know, it sounds alright unless you play past the 11th or 12th fret, and it's like they're not set properly, so it's very buzzy. So I play everything above the 12th fret. But like that was like 15, 16. I would watch people on YouTube doing these like covers of video game songs. I'm like, that is incredible. That's so. It's like magic to me. And I'd leave comments, be like, wow, this is like incredible. Like I really liked it. Like, but I feel like it's too late for me. I don't know. Maybe I was just being an edgy like teenager at the time. But like people were like, nah, dude, it's never too late. It's never too late. Just do it. Like you'll enjoy it.
Never too late.
So never too late. So I just left it for years. Like the money and the motivation never quite aligned at the time. So around sort of like 19, 20, I was like, do you know what? I've got some spare cash. Let me just buy something super cheap. If I don't play it, I don't play it, right? So I can just leave it there. I would screw around with it a little bit. And I was like, okay, well let me try to learn something real easy to play. So it's like, okay, well, what about Horse with No Name, right? You can sort of get away with it with like 4 chords with pretty much the same, like on the same fret as well. You can just cheat it. But there was something about it that just didn't feel right. So I put it away. And then I didn't touch it for like 2 years after that. And I got really annoyed with myself. And then COVID was like happening. And I was like, do you know what? I'm going to buy an electric. I'm going to get some lessons. Let's just do it. Because I suddenly felt I wanted to do something with my life.
Oh, okay.
Well, I say something with my life. That's just because I'm not like with you. You're sort of working as a programmer. You might not be happy with exactly what you're doing right now, but I feel like for you, it's more of a sort of a gap between you then moving on to doing something you're really passionate about. Like you have the skill, right, to sort of go and do it eventually, time and money willing. But I was like, I need something to find fulfilling for myself because I didn't really have anything at the time. And I'd always had an interest in music at some point, so I was like, do you know what, let's just do it.
Ooh.
And after taking a few lessons, I was like, wow, this is like just coming up with something. Like it could be the same boring 4 chords, you know, an E, a G, a C, something like that. But just playing it for yourself is like magic, man. That's why I don't know. I just wish people would allow themselves to fail more and just give it more of a go with their art, whatever it is that they do. Because it's such a, at least for me, maybe other people don't feel this way, but when you've created something that sort of comes out of thin air and it's come from your hands, I don't think there's a better feeling in the world, honestly. So if that's rock for you, you know, you've spent like a week coding a game or something, like one of your passion projects, and you boot it up and it's in its rough like little wireframe boxy sort of thing, and you play, it goes, oh wow, it works, right? You just have to polish it like crazy, but that's how it, you know, you sort of, there's that sort of time of messing around, kind of find something, you have a little like draft version, and that's when it's like, that's it, that's what I need to polish. And then the next issue is like, well, how much do you keep working on it before it's perfect? That's something you got to feel out, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, just gonna take a brief moment because there's some viewers. So hey, Lolapo, welcome. He's asking how are we feeling, how are we doing, and I think we're doing really great.
Yeah. I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to you because here you go. You have your own material, video game material. You have this looking for passion thing, and you have obstacles that are preventing you to reach, you know, you being able to play those kind of the melodies of video games that are kind of close to your heart or really close to your heart. And yeah, there's an experience that we all relate. Everyone has something that they want to do, they just can't grasp it for some reason. And really liked how you put it, describing like making a draft and stuff. I really like thinking about things not like 5 years of future, you know, in 5 years I'll be able to play, I don't know, Jimi Hendrix and stuff in Purple Haze and go like super crazy. Yeah, I like to think
one can dream
in small gaps. I like to imagine, okay, what if I learn this one riff and just repeat it all the time, and that's the only goal I have, and I learn that riff and it feels amazing because it's quite easy to learn, and that sort of makes you jump from one activity to another because you accomplished the task. And I called it kind of like jumping, you know. You jump from one, you feel motivation, you feel like sort of maybe adrenaline, I don't know. You feel great, right? So you want to do more. So that works better than having like a very big, vast goal of learning something because it's gonna be hard.
I think that's a really fantastic point, because for me, at least where I'm at, I'm a bit lazy at the moment with it. I'll be like, I want to learn like a Nirvana song, right? And then like just the intro riff will require me to be like sliding up and down. I'm like, I can't do this, and then I'll put it down. I'm like, do you know what? Because I can't do the start, I can't do the whole song, so I'm done with it. So I think the way you've put that, like having little like time slots of jumping, you know, like, well, how much can I do here? How much can I do here? I think that's perfect, because the crushing truth is you really need to take time to practice stuff, no matter what it is. I think that's what intimidates people.
What I keep telling to myself to sort of motivate myself, it's like, no matter how long, as you know, you're gonna get there. How, I don't know, like with Twitch, like maybe something cool will happen one day, maybe not. I already feel like, I sometimes feel like I'm a superstar, even though I'm like very minimum. I have like one viewer, like, dude, I miss you, thank you for coming. And I have Lolapo probably somewhere here in the chat, because he's the dude who's always there for me, and it's really cool. And you know, that's enough to make me feel great. And think, yeah, that's the feeling that you really have to hold on, because it's a matter of time until you actually become what you are feeling you are. So I don't know, for example, when I think about, I don't know, celebrities like PewDiePie, right? Everybody, like friends, people knew about him, but they didn't value him as a person like that. But he was always the same character. It just took him time until people realized how fun it is. He is, I mean. So same with everyone. You know, stuff that happens at home is, you know, when you sit down and play with your friends, for example, there's so many funny stuff going on all the time, and that's already, you know, amazing. And other people might see it on Twitch if you're streaming with friends, and they're like, oh, these guys, they're so cool, I want to be friends with them, you know. And now I want to come back specifically to you. You mentioned about learning Nirvana, right? But you don't really need to play power chords at the moment. You can just play one note. You know, there's a power chord where you use like fifths, the first note and the fifth, which is like, and then you can duplicate with your pinky like another octave. You can just play one note and be amazing, like dun 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 dun, dun, and feel great about it. And I can assure you, if you do that and just, you know, enjoy that you're playing along with your favorite track, I don't know if Nirvana is your favorite, but whatever, you will want to learn more. And if you're already gonna try to play that power chord, it's gonna become frustrating. So keep it very simple with whatever. Like, and I'm telling this myself as well, because I have this obsessive mindset where I have to do everything perfect. But yeah, you really have to just narrow it down to bare bone, basically.
Take some of my own advice, allow myself to fail.
Yeah.
Let me just, so, Pulsar, what's going on? I got you, Harpy, I'm here for you. Thank you, Pulsar. We've got our resident artist, Blue Noel, who's done a lot of the emotes for this stream. So, hey, Blue. We're sort of talking about art and motivation and stuff at the moment. We haven't even touched video games. See, this is why I knew it would be such a fantastic opportunity to talk to you, because we haven't even touched on what like the whole premise of the stream was, and we've just been like chatting about other stuff. I love it.
Yeah, that's just getting to know you, actually.
That's why I love Twitch. You can find people that you can get on with. You don't necessarily have to have the same likes and goals, but just by having that community of people to sort of encourage each other, and not in a fake positivity, like you can do anything, go for it, but like genuinely like, hey dude, I see what you're doing, I really hope that this works out for you, because it might not be something you want, but you can see they're passionate about it, and why wouldn't you want them to succeed in that? It blows my mind why you wouldn't.
Yeah. Actually, the same reason why I also started like Discord community, because at first I was really not feeling it, because every streamer creates a Discord community. So how can a person manage to be a part of 300 communities because maybe he watches like few of his favorite streamers and has to participate in a lot of community. It's kind of crazy. So I thought, I'm not gonna do this. But at the same point, I started meeting people who also starting to do like Twitch and stuff, and I noticed how important it is to just, just chat and update each other.
Have a place where people can come together.
Yeah, and talking about those emotional things as well, because there's always gonna be this day when you feel like you can't really do anything anymore, sort of. So knowing at least that everybody feels that way, I don't know, helps to clear your mind, I guess.
I agree. I mean, I think we touched on something earlier about, like, you said that it's a shame that people don't sort of allow themselves to fail or allow themselves just to try things. But I think it's more that I think it helps to have a community around you or some people that will be there to just pick you up if you need that. Like, it might be that you have, let's say, the Ocean community, right? Your little, like, Discord people, right? Let's say that you've had a great stream last week and you're feeling on top of the world and everyone's like, yeah, this is great, and you're giving them 110% with their stuff as well offline. Could be that come a week after, you're just completely, like, shot. You're not feeling it. You don't want it. But by fostering that community of people that are like, well, we want everyone here to succeed, that in itself is so stimulating, because I think people need that, like, not constant reinforcement, but the occasional, like, dude, it's all good. You might not be feeling it today, but we believe in you. And yeah, it sucks that we can't just have that hardwired into our brain, and we can't just do it whenever we feel like. But that's, we're social animals, man. Like, that's why we create these communities. That's why we share ideas and we talk to people. That's why we have Twitch channels and people flock to someone in the millions to spam, like, Pepe in chat or whatever.
Man, I want to be a part of every of these weird communities and stuff. I wish I just had enough time in the world to indulge into so many different activities and meeting more and more people and stuff. But yeah, I started thinking of what you said. You have this, like, 1 week of amazing stream, right? And I think emotions are really weird because they sort of have the power and it can flip very easily, right? So if you feel super excited, the same amount of excitement can become anxiety. It just flips. Now you're this level anxious. Like, oh shit, I did, like, an amazing stream. Now I have to do better or something like that. And then you start feeling, oh my God, can I do as good as I was last week or something? And you just look at your face like, man, I'm not sure if I can do this today. Yeah, but being consistent really helps, I guess. You just show up and see how it goes. Maybe this day's not as good as last week, but eventually there's gonna be more days like that last week. So that's at least how I feel. Like, I do feel as I'm getting better and growing more viewers, I do find myself being anxious. I'm like, can I really, maintain their expectations of me and stuff like that? But that's the thing. That's not what you're supposed to focus on. And that's how I remind myself constantly, like, it's not about that. Chill out.
Yeah, dude. That's why I will forever keep saying, have fun with it to everyone. It's so much easier said than done, but by that what I mean is try not to let yourself get bogged down in the numbers, and they're like, oh, well, what if I'm not funny enough? What if they don't like me? What if this stream is boring and they never come back again? It's like, to fret over that is to sort of start making your own excuses to give up. Because I've gone through similar, right? Like, I've had the Twitch channel for, like, the last 4 years, but I've taken several hiatuses for personal reasons, and I've gone through all of those, like, challenges, and it's something that everybody has to go through, regardless of what field they're in. But having those people there to say, look, not the be-all and end-all, just keep doing it for yourself, and not in a selfish way of, like, oh, well, this is all for me, and it's all about me, I'm the star of the show, but you need to find something, like, what's the reason? So let me throw it to you. What's the reason you stream? Like, the very first reason you did it, like, there might have been multiple reasons, there might have been little reasons, it might have been just, I wanted to give it a try. What was the catalyst that actually got you to do it?
Okay, so first you're asking what made me start it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dude, actually, I saw it as an opportunity to sort of shape myself to a person I want to be, because I have so many authorities also that I've been watching other people stream or do YouTube, and I thought, wow, these people really shaped themselves and evolved by doing this, and I felt like, damn, I want to be that kind of person. I want to also build myself, analyze sort of myself, and connect with people, and yeah, then. And I found this thing that you can share with each other, and that's sort of that made me hook. So I started Twitch and thinking, okay, what's the easiest thing I can do? I'm gonna play some video games, you know? It's gonna be the easiest. I don't need to write a script. I don't really need to think what I'm gonna talk. I'm just gonna, oh look, it's a rock. I'm gonna pick this rock. I'm gonna take the rock over there, which is myself. That kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I thought I'm gonna play video games, but what I notice now, I'm really not doing this for video games. I'm kind of hooked now. I really am enjoying just chatting with people and saying hi and you know, knowing what they're up to, and I see other people are getting inspired to do other things, so I'm also getting inspired. So it just takes a really nice roller coaster.
I think that's a great little loop that you found yourself in. That there is this. You had that starting point, you're like, oh, I'd like to see where it takes me, like, meld yourself into a better person. But now you've just found your own little passion in it, and I think that's really cool. I don't know, I've got nothing more to say to that, other than that's cool, man.
Hey, Humanity, thank you for hosting us on this stream. We're having Harpy here. Yeah, he's interviewing me, kind of.
I did. It wasn't meant to be like, I swear. It was just like, we were gonna talk some video game stuff, and it's just become like a proper, like, let's get to know the streamer.
Yeah, but if it
I dig,
that
like,
way,
I
then-
dig this kind of stuff. I'm really into it.
Dude, yeah. So I want to know, like, yeah, maybe let's start with the fact I want to learn and understand how you started doing this, and when was that? When was that point where you felt like, man, I cannot do this anymore. I need to take a break.
Okay.
I'm interested in
You
that.
really want to like go for it? You want to go for like full deep dive? We're going.
Yeah, let's do this.
We're going deep into the ocean. Get your scuba gear on, chat. We're going down. So, probably back in like the end of 2017, I was playing XCOM 2, and I just really wanted to show it to my two friends. Like, at the time I was hanging out with my girlfriend and like a really close friend of mine. We were just constantly sort of like in Discord, just chilling, chatting. I'd be playing XCOM 2. And if you've ever played XCOM 2, you know that it's a real pain in the backside, because it'll say, oh, there's an 85% chance, 90% chance to hit, and you'll be this close to the target, and it'll go, boom. So I would get really mad at that, and I'd set up a Twitch account just to stream it, to show them. And then at some point, I think a few months passed, I was messing around with some settings, looking up YouTube stuff like, well, how do you get it to run smoother? Because this was before... It was before the affiliate program, and it was before it like really took off that anybody could do it. Like, you still had to put a little bit of time into tinkering with your internet settings, tinkering with how the programs worked with your tower. I thought, well, you know what? Why not? Let's just give it a go. Let's play some video games online for my friends. That was really where it began. It was just showing some games for my friends.
Sweet.
And then at one point, it changed. I think I started playing Kingdom Hearts 2. No, the first Kingdom Hearts on stream. And I was looking for other streamers to get to know. Because I think that's the best way you can do it in any field you're in, whether you're doing art or music or whatever it is. Getting to know other people that are either starting out or have done it for a little while. And getting to know those people really inspired me to just keep doing it. I decided, you know what, I'm having a lot of fun getting to know these people. I'm playing a game that was really close to me from childhood. It was that shared experience for me. It was the fact that they were enjoying me reliving something they also enjoyed. And there's something about that I really dig. It's not just me playing a video game, because if I'm honest, if I'm playing something like I don't know, let's say The Witcher 2, right? That's something I recently re-downloaded to try to play through. If it was me just playing it on my own, off stream, it'd be this. I'd be dead silent, wouldn't be saying a thing, I'd be hardly moving. But when you get to share that...
That could be interesting to see.
I don't think that would be
stream
interesting.
accidentally.
Just 24 hours. If I set up cameras, 24 hours in a room, that would be... It's not a bad stream idea. That's kind of creepy, though.
True.
But it's... For me, it really is... It's the community. I think we're sort of similar. Like, not entirely, but... I've said so many times, this might sound super cheesy, but chat is kind of like the fuel for the fire for stream for me. It's like, if chat's having a good time, I'm having a good time. So I will never burden chat with like what's going on with me, just because the way I perceive chat is that, not chat, but the way I perceive my streams are, I'm here to entertain you guys, to make the day slightly better. Maybe I can get a cheap laugh and you'll be like, ha, that was funny. Okay, now I'm gonna go watch some YouTube thing. That's, for me, that's cool. If I can make one person laugh, I'm good. Truly, and it's like, I feel fulfilled at the end. Even if, I don't know, I'm gonna start rambling, but let me try to bring it back to the question, like, because it was like, how did I start? And then what went wrong when I sort of stopped, right? So, we're having a great time. I'm like, going through like sort of part-time jobs, no problem, got some time for myself. And then I think I started a job as a barista, and I was like, okay, well, it's a bit more, it was like part-time, full-time, the hours were a bit skew-whiff, but I had learned within that year that I do not enjoy customer service in the slightest. For that, it's a weird dynamic that I really enjoy the community of Twitch and talking to people and having a good laugh. But when I'm out in public talking to people that just want to be a piece of work just because they can, So I think that started affecting me negatively. I had less energy for stream. I started getting wrapped up in my own like head about stuff, as I think everybody does. But I was too... I don't want to say too proud, or... I was too worried about burdening other people with my issues. So I was like, well, I can't tell chat, I can't tell anyone. I don't want to like ruin their day. So I kept that to myself, and it slowly started affecting streams. I'd stream less. I wouldn't be as excited to stream. I would kind of be very reluctant to stream. I'd start to feel guilty for not streaming. Like, these people are here to support me. They've thrown subs my way. Like, some people's generosity on Twitch is unfathomable to me. I can never understand it, because to some people it's $5, it's €3, it's a couple of quid. To me, I'm like, that's still like, that's your hard-earned money. I don't care like what that means to you. You still had to work for that money.
Right.
So the guilt really started piling up like crazy, to the point where I thought I was going to quit entirely, just because I was not in a good space. So I like nuked the first Discord. I was like, guys, I'm sorry, but this is like, I'm out. And I felt terrible. Like, I just abandoned like people that were really good people. I don't think it says more about me that there's a lot of guilt associated with it. And then I tried to sort of like stream casually in between there, because I'd started a new job and everything, but I couldn't find the motivation, and that was just more my own mental health. And I would implore anyone that's like been struggling for a few years just to go and speak to a doctor. Like, it's one of the hardest things you can do, especially if you have to go again, because like sometimes, from my experience, doctors are like, well, could be this, could be that, and you feel a bit dejected. You're like, okay, I guess I'd better get on with it. But you have to be your own hype man. You have to be your own like cheerleader. Be like, do it. Just it doesn't matter. Like, you really have to just break that wall down. Because it's sad, people can be around you, they can give you as much love and support, but it really has to come from within, and that's the toughest thing you can do. Like, I know it's the hardest damn thing to like just break down the wall.
Yeah.
But you've gotta find that motivation at some point. Even if it's like a spark, it's like a minute. You've just woken up, it's 9 in the morning. You're like, oh, I should do something. Do it. Just go for it. Go, like, I don't know. I'm getting way off topic.
Do it.
Yeah, Shia LaBeouf. Yesterday, you said tomorrow, so just do it.
Exactly.
So where were we? Sorry, I've gone way off topic.
I'm believing 100% there's everyone who's just listening to us probably can find themselves in this situation, because I'm just listening to you and I'm like thinking about myself like, god damn, I'm feeling the same things sometimes, you know. So I
think it can
totally
be-
get that.
I think it can be hard to hear from someone else that's sort of maybe gone through it and is either on the path to recovery or has come out the other side. Because if I rewind 2 years ago and maybe I hear someone else say that, I'd be sitting there like, yeah, well, it's easy for you to say. You're not feeling like this. But it's like having that sense of perspective that maybe they were feeling like you at one point. Sure, they might be doing better now, but it's... I don't think you should discount somebody else's troubles just because they've ended up in a better spot. Because they might have felt like you. It's the hardest. It's so easy to just tell somebody to like go and find help, and to go out and try to find something to help them. But it's so difficult to get through to them. Like it's that like you can lead a horse to water. So that's why I'll keep on saying the same thing over and over and over again, ad nauseum, until someone maybe someday says, do you know what? I'll do it. Screw it. You know, Harpy's been whining about it for months on end. What's the harm, right? Normalizing the ability to allow yourself to get help, to be vulnerable, to sort of open yourself up and say, look, doctor or family member or whatever, I think I need some help with something. Maybe it's just because in the West, we generally live in a society where it's like you've got to get on with it, just work, make yourself money, you'll be happy eventually.
Not
At
really.
least on Twitch, like the video gamey sphere, like the artsy sphere, if you're already like creatively inclined, you don't really fit into that like 9 to 5 set schedule of working your ass off to make ends meet. That's just not where you're at, because a lot of your joy comes from creation, not from slaving away. And for some people, they can do that no problem, and that's cool. They're happy with it. They'll work their jobs, they'll spend their money on whatever, they'll go out, they'll party, they'll have a good time.
Yeah.
But then you've got the artsy folk that are a bit more like, I don't want to offend anyone, but a little more sensitive, like a bit more like sort of in touch with how they feel. That just doesn't work for them. So trying to find that balance can be really difficult. Really difficult. Which is why I think it's so important to have people around you that will not flatter you, but they'll be there to sort of give you a little like pick me up if you need it. Because the worst thing I hate, I mean, the thing that I cannot stand the most is like false flattery. Like, you're the best, you can do it, you can achieve anything. I'm like, yeah, all right. But to be like, dude, I don't know. I've gone off topic way too far.
It's okay. I would agree. I would say like, yeah, that false kind of flattery is not nice. But I also, in those moments, I don't want to hear any advice. So you mentioned like, oh, go see a doctor or something. Don't tell me that when I'm in that kind of state. Like, wait until you recover, and that's for everyone. And I used to have a dog, the best, sweetest thing ever, a golden retriever. He's my best friend, and funny enough, he did so much therapy for me.
Yeah.
In a country where like mental health is in the toilet and nobody really gives like, what, you need therapy, that you were gonna go like to psychiatric like hospital, what? But what he did, he felt me all the time. And what dogs do, they can't talk, they just come and stay with you. That's all you need. You need someone present there, you know, that you're like not alone. Then you can,
Yeah.
as you said, you can pick yourself up, because sadly the mental battle is always alone. You might have, like you said, the community and family and everyone loving you and stuff like that. You just won't hear, won't see. It's your own inner thing, kind of. But
Yeah.
yeah, I want to ask you. There's this viewer called Humanity. He says he wants to comment on some
Hey.
things you said.
Oh,
Actually,
sure. Well, yeah, hit me
he
with it.
said. He said you shouldn't have to feel guilty. Someone who is in a true fan of your streams would understand that you're having a rough time. And he's also asking you, like, he says, like, I see that you have a lot of followers, and he's curious, like, how how is it also with earning cash from
Well,
Twitch?
well, okay. Damn, I like it. Okay. So, like, back when I was streaming properly and, like, there was traction to my streams before I'd, like, nuked everything, it was around the time when Twitch first sort of unveiled the affiliate stuff so that the little guy could start earning some cash from Twitch. And I was, like, one of the first people to get into that. And it was so sort of incredible because you're on that... You and thousands of other people are on that train of, like, we're sort of like the first trying this out. Isn't this wicked? Like, and everyone else is like hyped because now the little guy can try to make it. But with that comes caveats, right? Twitch, generally partners will... You can negotiate for it, but they'll generally take something like 40-30% off of, like, subs, but if you're a big streamer, you can negotiate that stuff down. So you can imagine anyone that you watch that is a verified, like, top tier streamer, they're getting probably the majority of that Twitch sub. With affiliates, it's a flat 50%. So Twitch is going to take 50% of what you earn, essentially. So that's also why you see so many people have, like, little donate buttons, because it's a great way to directly support a streamer that you really like. Other people have Patreons and whatever else.
But it also takes a little bit from donations, right? Less than subs, but also takes.
So, well,
am
I mean,
wrong?
depending on what you go through for donations, it's completely 100% yours. So that's why I would implore people, if you genuinely wanted to directly support a creator that you like, just donate to them. But Twitch subs give you benefits, right? You get emotes, you get whatever else. So, you know, you think about it, that Twitch sub is like $5. You're only gonna see 250 of that, and then on top of that, you need to make like $100 before you can even cash out. So you then have to, like, have enough support that you're gonna reach $100. Now, it doesn't have to be every month, but the cash out date at the start was like from like the 1st of, let's say, August to the 30th. You had to have reached like $100, and then they would cash you out on the 15th of the next month. So it was like, for everyone at the time, it was just pocket money, really. It was literally just like, let me buy you a beer, dude. Let me support you. That's all it was. Like, the money, I think that's the problem. Some people also got bogged down with the money. It's like, oh, well, my Twitch numbers are down, or, oh, like, I had 10 less viewers than yesterday. And it's not, I think, genuinely, I don't want to, like, rain on anybody's parade, but if you sort of get into it because you want to make money, you're going to have a really rough uphill struggle. Because if you're focusing on the Twitch subs and the money it nets you, you're going to find yourself burnt out so quickly. Now, there are some people whose communities that I've seen, they will gift subs every month. They'll gift like 50 subs. There'll be people on the top rankings that will gift a bunch of subs. But that's because you never compare yourself to somebody else's stream, because you're not the same person. Their stream might have like a community of people that are just really generous, really giving, and can financially support that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas your stream might just be a bunch of college students, for example. They can't afford that. So to compare, well, they've got 50 subs and I've got 2. You're going to get yourself into a spiral of of destruction. And I think that's what a lot of streamers have gone through at some point. Is like, I've heard it personally from other people where like, because I really enjoy just talking to people one-on-one, sort of shooting the crap and just chilling with them. And I've heard from a lot of people like they'll be upset almost that like their subscriptions might stagnate or that they might drop, and I'm like, it's hard for me not to be like, don't worry about it. I won't, like, that's my knee-jerk reaction, is just don't worry about it. But did that answer the question? Humanity? I don't think it did. But
yeah, you write
it's
me
pocket
that
money.
answer. Pocket money, gotcha.
It's pocket money, unless you're doing it. If you can make Twitch a part-time/full-time job, that's when you want to start caring about it, because then you're going to pay the bills.
I think in my case, I'm actually going to the minus, just because I don't have affiliate. I could take it, because I met the requirements by now. But I know my vacation is upcoming, so I thought I'm gonna sit down and think this through before I jump into that. So I didn't get any donation or any subs just yet. But at the same time, I've been so lucky with the people I would get to my, my streams. They're not gonna be a lot, but they're really, really cool people. And I thought like, God damn it, I want to give you the experience. So I just gifted like a video game to one of the guys. And
Yeah.
best investment kind of, because I see he's so enjoying. He's just playing every day, just writing to me like, oh look, I'm here, or like, you want to come and see me play like one time or something. So I'm like, wow, okay. So here's the thing, I kind of lose the money, but at the same time, these people are giving me so much of their energy and everything back, which I can't like really, if I would cash that, that's even more than I'm giving out.
No,
actually.
absolutely. I think you can't sort of put a price on that interaction, that human experience that you have with people. That's why, sort of going back a little bit to Q's 2 questions, is that like, I know he said that like you shouldn't feel guilty because like the fan base would be there to support you, but that coupled with the fact that like as an affiliate you basically have the ability to take people's money. That's the way it's like, you take their money. Like it's so difficult for me personally because it's never been easy for me to like, I don't know if as you guys had a childhood whether you like would ask for money or you'd be like, oh, father, mother, please can I have this chocolate bar?
Bless me with some candy.
Yeah, that always made me feel super uncomfortable. Even to my adulthood. That's why it's like, I will always sort of joke about Twitch subs. I'll never like, because I've seen some people that it's their full-time job and they'll turn around like, excuse me guys, we're down 200 subs. What is going on? There's gonna be no stream tomorrow unless I get my subs right now. I'm like, what? Hugh, no. Thank you, dude. Thank you very much for the sub. You didn't have to. I think you've done that on purpose just to put me on the spot now, haven't you?
Aw.
That's
yeah, he's definitely hearing it.
That's too sweet. No. So you should have saved that for when Rock opens up his affiliate, and he will, and you're all gonna shower him with love and support. I know you will, and he's just gonna have to accept it.
That's just beer for you now. Crack open the cold one for you.
Crack open the cold water bottle because it's only water tonight, chat.
Okay.
Yeah, I always get uncomfortable with stuff like that because it's like, it's so sweet, it's so generous of people, but it's like, ugh, I'm not worthy, It's crazy. But thank you, Hugh. That's too much. Go ahead, dude. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, not really. I'm just, thinking about you, man. Like, not you, but you. You said, like, you sort of separate yourself a little bit, or at least you used to, because how you described your beginning of the Twitch, you felt like, okay, I have a duty to make people laugh and give them certain things that they're here for. And that's very admirable, to be there to give something, because that's what content creators do usually. But at the same time, you kind of put yourself out of that process, if someone's hanging together, kind of, they should be both in the process. And in this case, you know, you are one part of the party, and the chat is the second part of the party, and you kind of exclude yourself a little bit. And yeah, that's probably
That's
a
a
little bit
very
sad.
astute observation. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully, like, me just pointing that out could give you sort of strength to say, like, okay, it's a mutual thing. It's not just
It's funny
me.
you should say that actually, because when I first dropped into your stream and I was like, oh, someone playing Breath of the Wild, that's cool. And then we sort of got chatting, and
Yeah.
you asked about like, did I stream and whatever else. I'm always super reluctant to say anything in other people's chat, because it's sort of like unwritten rule. You don't go, oh, hi there, I'm a streamer, like, you should check me out. That's like biggest faux
Yeah.
pas that you can do on the platform. But I forgot my point. Fantastic.
Yeah, I said about
No,
excluding
about separating
yourself.
myself, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I told you that I was like, I wasn't streaming at the time. I was like trying to fix myself, because it's not until very, very recently, and it's funny that you pointed out, it's not until like 3, 4, 5 weeks ago where I was sort of like, do you know what? I have to let the people know that have been around for the longest time, like, where I'm at. So I like opened up a Word doc. I tried to like type some stuff down. I'm like, spent an entire like night like trying to think, how do I put where I'm at on paper, because I felt like they sort of deserve to sort of know kind of where I'm at, because I'm sort of, the longest time, just me personally, I'm sort of keep it very guarded, because as I've said before, it's like, it's my duty to make other people happy, not the other way around.
Right.
And that can be quite in a strange way, it can be quite a toxic mentality, because you don't allow yourself to sort of process normal human things. You're just like, well, it doesn't matter, because that's not what's important. Allowing yourself to sort of be a little bit vulnerable to people is important, but it's also it's the internet as well. So for me, it's like, well, once it's out there forever. So I had to like think really carefully, like,
Yeah.
I don't just want to say like, I'm really upset, chat, I can't stream, because that
It sounds
trying to
like an
approach-
apology video on YouTube.
yeah, just sort of like, didn't want to have to make this video today, guys, but some things have been I hate that stuff. Just sort of being honest but sort of brief with the people that have been around for the longest time, to be like, look, you guys deserve to sort of know where I'm at and why I haven't been streaming, and why. Because when people support you for that long, and they're genuine in their support and they want you to get better, for you to shut them out is the worst thing you can do. And I've done that for years. Just personally, I'm terrible at like letting people in. And that's not to say you need to let everybody in. You should be sort of careful about like who you trust. But yeah, I think it's still gonna be I'm now sort of more okay to be like, look, we all should have fun. We're all gonna have fun. Like, if you're collabing, it should be both chats having fun and both streamers having fun.
Right.
But that thing of like, I still want chat to have fun, that's always going to be there. That's like the driving point of why I stream. So yes, I've grown a little bit. I'm like, yeah, you got to like let yourself enjoy it as well. But I'm never going to let that go. And I don't think you should, like, for example, you shouldn't let go the fact that you want your sort of Twitch journey to shape you into a better person, that the community, that the chats is sort of what fuels you, right? Because who knows, in a year, in a 2 years time, maybe subconsciously your perception might have changed a little bit to like, oh, everything I do has to provide value in some way to chat, because I can already like project where your mind's gonna be. You're gonna be like,
Yes.
today's stream or like yesterday's YouTube video was not informative enough, I can't do it. Like,
How do I
some
one-up
people
this?
just yeah, like, it doesn't always have to be a one-up thing. Like, chat's gonna be there. I mean, that's the thing, people have their own lives as well, like, so they might not be able to make it, they might have something else to do, but that's why you surround yourself with good people. That's why I feel so lucky to have met so many people on Twitch, because it's baffling, truly baffling, like how many good people there are out there. And I think if you don't have that in your immediate life, it can be difficult to believe. The beauty of the internet, the beauty of Twitch is that there are many people out there for you to meet, and it can be wonderful. I've been told I have to drink some water, so make sure you're hydrating, chat.
Sweet. In the meantime, Humanity says, I wish I had the know-how to do a collab, not to mention college can be a bit tough to work around.
I think
And yeah,
if you've got a full slate of college work to go through, you really need to prioritize that. Especially if you have to work to subsidize your sort of rent or so that you can eat. But if you can find yourself like, I don't know, like an hour in the evening or something like that to do something that you truly enjoy. Like, you don't have to, like, let's say, Hugh, you want to do streams, right? You don't have to set aside 8 hours a day to stream. If you just want to spend half an hour playing Legend of Zelda on PC and see who shows up, give yourself that opportunity to see how it goes. Now, you might find that you do it for 1 hour every weekend, right? You say, okay, well, Saturday I've got like an hour free. I'll try this. And you do it next Saturday when you've got an hour free. Maybe you'll find that you enjoy it or you don't enjoy it. I'm sure there's some, like, even if it's 10 minutes, right? You might just have 10 minutes, a very short time slot. Just see how you feel about it, right? Give yourself that opportunity to experience something. I know it's easy for me to say, oh, just find the time. Just find the time. But it might also be finding the motivation as well, because then you might find that you actually do have some time, but you're so shot with like work and schoolwork and everything, you're like, okay, I have this time, but I really need to rest. So it's be honest with yourself. I think that's the best thing you can do is look at yourself and be like, is this time that is actually free, or is it time I genuinely need to rest and recuperate? Being completely honest with yourself is the best thing you can do, I think.
yeah, he says that he does some streams of playing a video game called Spore, but he's planning to branch out.
I love
to do
Spore.
more. I love Spore too, man. It's amazing.
You can create the most cursed little creatures imaginable. And I've also seen people, I don't know if anyone's aware of this book that's recently surged in popularity. It was released in 2005. It's called All Tomorrows. It's like a weird sci-fi speculative evolution where it takes humans and sort of it's like a work of fiction going through their journey for like the next billion years. And there's some crazy artwork in there. It's really sort of like dystopic, but there's some like human elements to it. And I've seen people recreate those monsters in Spore. So it's like, it's crazy that this book that's like 15 years old is getting people to create stuff in a game that's like 10 years old. And there are other people like me watching that being like, hey, that's really cool. It's just like art in its most vague form can have so many different influences and make this one little thing. It's like, here's a YouTube video of like several different things. So I'm gonna say it again. It's gonna start really annoying everyone. Just have fun with it. If you enjoy it, truly, like, what is it? There's some like old sayings like, if you play, people will come, or something like that, right? Like, it might not be something that millions of people are going to be into, but there's going to be somebody out there that's interested, or at least take a passing interest.
I really like when you can give art and sort of you create something, but you give out to the world, and then the world just takes your art and shapes it differently. And that's what I really like about video games, when you allow to mod or create in them. And it's very beneficial for game devs as well to do this kind of thing, because not only you create something, but also the community prolongs your game to just create more content and more things. And yeah, people love that, and I love that personally, like just seeing what other people will do with what you made, you know.
I mean, that in itself fosters its own community.
Yeah.
Of both the modders and the people that appreciate the mods. Like, I think that's where a lot of people also like to get started, at least. Like, people will start modeling, like, Fallout or something, you know, or Skyrim. They'll be like, hey, I actually really like that. Let's continue this. So even if it was like let's take Hugh for example. Like, I'm not sure what he's doing in college or what his aspirations are, but let's just let's ask him. What does he do? What's he doing? What's his goal?
marine biologist. I know that for sure.
Damn, that's interesting. Like, that to me is always like, damn. Like, that's such an interesting thing to choose, right? That's so much.
Yeah, you just wake up
knowledge.
one morning, and you know what? I'm gonna be a marine biologist.
Yeah, it's like how I always wonder, like, how do people reach the careers they want to go to? Because do you ever, like, you go to the dentist, you go, I wonder why this guy decided to be a dentist. What point in his life did he decide, I want to fix people's teeth for a living? I find that stuff fascinating. Like,
Yeah, just want to get inside your mouth.
they've just got some, like, Norman Bates vibe. Just open up. I don't know. I think you can, despite what you do, there is knowledge or experience that you can impart to people for anything. Like, I'm gonna jump back to Nintendo really quickly. Some of the higher ups prefer to have people that aren't, like, super great at gaming, but they might have an interest in mountain biking or gardening or someone that scuba dives, and that's like an interview that like they took, you know, like it's legit. Like, this dude prefers to have people with an eclectic range of experiences and hobbies, because the more sort of, like, diverse people you have around you in experiences and hobbies, the more that can sort of fuel you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a slow road to realization that actually, yeah, you can push people away and you can try to be like the stoic, like, individual, but you're going to benefit greatly from having other people around you that you can look up to and absorb their experiences. If we go back to music real quick, a great thing I would tell to other beginners like myself is, if you learn songs and you really like, for example, a chord from that one song, steal all the chords you can get so that you can use that for when you write your own songs. Because it might be that you really dig the way that these two chords sound. Take that for yourself, right? Take it. It's yours now. It's in your box of tools. So
I actually feel like I really want to say some things about this stuff, because
please.
I went through an experience where I always thought that, if I want to learn something, I have to, like, attend courses or go to a teacher or whatever. But what happened again with the guitar for me, I managed to reach a very good level of how I play and how I do covers and stuff like that. And yes, that felt great, but then came the time where I started creating. And here's the thing, creativity and technicality are two different skills. So you're a level 5, I don't know, guitarist, but your creativity is level 1, you're level 5. And this gap, the bigger the gap, the more frustrating it will get, because you understand that you gave so much time, so much money, energy, whatever you name it, and you still can't create. Why is that? Well, because it's a completely different skill.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, take chords, yes, don't think about composition, don't think about how the song structure goes, don't think at all, just play with it, and
Just do. See what works.
You mentioned the word, the play is such a good and tasty just sound, because play, don't work, don't choke it, don't do, just play, just enjoy it. And yeah, if you do that, then your creativity will go up, and you will see that you can create more, which means that your technical level will raise up, and then you're gonna create more, and it will go, like, in that kind of balance. And you'll find yourself, like, capable of creating, and also being good at it, like just playing and stuff. So now whenever I'm learning something new, I'm trying to put that mentality of, like, okay, those guys tell me that I have to go 4 years of education to understand this. Nah, just pick it up and just try. They say don't touch computers, don't, like, go into, like, details, because it's too complicated for you. No, if you will sit down and start, like, figuring out part by part, you will know how computer runs, and you will be able to collect it piece by piece. And have a lot of friends who are obsessed with cars. They just buy a bunch of cars, take them apart, put them back together. I'm like, I wouldn't do that.
I couldn't fathom that. No, I'd be like,
but they learn it. They don't go like through education of how cars work. They just build it, and that mentality. It's like it's amazing. If you can just look at everything in life that it's simple and attainable, just give time to it.
Absolutely.
Magic happens.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think there are some things, there's a lot of things you can do just by giving it a go, and just by, you've got the internet, right? We've got like the biggest resource of knowledge that we could ever hope for. There are like, so if you want to do something, go for it. There are some things that you will, there are only a few things I think that you absolutely have to go through like a course for. Like if you want to become a doctor or a lawyer, that's not really something you can half-ass on the internet, that you can sort of try for yourself. So there are a few things, very few things that you'd have to go through a university for. But other than that, you can just teach yourself. Go for
I mean, don't do an
Enjoy
operation on heart for me for the first time.
Yeah,
yes.
maybe don't try that. So let's see, let me check chat real quick. Just leave school, become a homeless streamer. Yes, kids, you too can become a popular streamer if you stop all your education, you put all your time and money into a hobby that has a very small percent chance of becoming successful. Bet it all. Put all your eggs in one basket. Absolutely do that. I mean, you'll find a lot of the big like YouTubers and streamers were like in the middle of like doing stuff. Like PewDiePie was in university to be an architect while he was like screaming into a microphone playing horror games, right? So you imagine some dude, some sort of respectful like guy that's come from like a middle class family going to university to be an architect, right? Cool. And then in his free time he's like, ah, scary. Like, you can just, like, it doesn't matter what you're doing in your daytime. Just follow your hobbies. Just because even if it goes nowhere, it's gonna do you the world of good. Because it's fulfilling. Finding fulfillment in your life is the biggest thing. That's, I think, partly why I picked up a guitar, because I wanted to find something worth creating. We've got Furon in chat saying that dentists exist because they enjoy causing suffering. I think you need to go to a different dentist. Chantage is a good word. Chantage? The chantage of getting big. I mean, it's one of those things that I think all big creators will tell you that if you're focusing, aim for the top, you're going to burn out pretty quickly. I don't know. I don't sit here and go, do you know what? By this time next year, I'm going to be biggest Twitch streamer imaginable. You can take Rock's advice. Say, what do I want by next month? Well, maybe you want 10 more followers, or maybe you want a subscriber. Well, how are you going to do that? You're going to set up a stream every Saturday night, and you're going to make sure that you stick to that. Because hell, people might not show up tonight, but they might show up next week, or the week after. It's okay. Okay.
Thing is, you probably need to prepare yourself, because
Oh
what
my-
can
sorry, I
happen
just
to you
read-
guys? You can get 100 followers next day. What are you gonna do then? You're gonna it can become such a stress. So you gotta kind of balance yourself and reach that point where you can handle it as well.
That's why, like, when some people are like, oh wow, Harpy, you've got like 300 followers, how did you do that? I'm like, to me it's not really a problem, because well, at least with Twitch, it's all about who's in the chat with you at the time. Like, the concurrent viewer, who is watching, how long are they watching for? Like, are they showing up regularly? That's what's king on a streaming platform. Not like how many people are like, sort of like kind of paying attention to when you stream. Because I've seen so many times when people have tens of thousands of followers and they have like 30 people watching them. And to me that kind of is a little sad, because it's like you have so many people that are like ready to watch you, but you have such a smaller number of that are actually there to care. So I don't know, that's, for me, that's how I sort of think about it personally. I could have 100 followers, but if I've got like a tenth of that watching me, I'm happy, right? So, I don't know, the way I sort of look at it is like, be more concerned about the people that are there with you on the day, not about how many people are like that say follow you on your Twitch account, because that at the end of the day is sort of meaningless. Because I've seen people who are verified who have very small follower accounts, but because they've got a lot of people watching them, they've been verified by Twitch. They're now doing it for a full-time job. So the follower account is like nothing, really. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. To some people it matters. Like if you want to get affiliate, absolutely. But
It doesn't matter. But I've seen again on Reddit, people just ask follow for a follow, would reach 50, and nobody's still watching.
yeah, it's sad, man. That's why I can't.
I actually want to play a game, so I'm gonna come close and look at Harpy's chat. I'm gonna ask you a question. So
chat, pay up.
Chat,
pay
listen
attention.
up. Why? I mean, let's first question. How did you find Harpy, and what made you guys to stick around and listen to this joke of a guy?
oh yeah. Yo, hold on. We've got a big host, Dai Sensei. Thank you so much for the host, my friend. We've got 15 people. I just want to shout out, by the way, I'm having a discussion with a fellow Twitch streamer, Rocktopus, who is a very chill guy. We've had big chats. Please check him out. We're both streaming. Give him some love. Dai, thank you. How's it been, man? What have you been streaming? How's it been going? We're talking big philosophical life stuff. So, hey Jen, welcome everybody. Maybe this is a good question to Dai, because Dai is somebody that I've known since like one of the earliest Twitch Discords. It was like called Streamer Nation or something, and this is where I met like some other people. Like these names won't mean anything to you, but for people that are coming over from Dai, they'll know like Impervious, Inspector Jeff, D3. They're guys that I sort of met on that Streamer Nation Discord when everyone was sort of starting out, and Dai is the kind of person that's been doing it sort of consistently, non-stop. And this dude will like have, could be a good day where he has like 30 plus people watching him play like a JRPG, or maybe he's just chilling with chat and there's like 10 people, and it's like generally a really good environment. And Dai, you're gonna have to tell us how it's been for you. Like, what has your experience been with your consistency on Twitch, and how your growth is now, and like, do you feel comfortable? Do you still want to like hit something further? Or let us know, because you're the best person to sort of like ask this question to, because out of everyone, you and sort of D3 have kept on that consistent push forwards.
Sweet.
Hello, Jen. Harpy-chan.
Humanity also already answered, like, he found me through Spore. Apparently he liked octopuses, and he found my name in Spore.
Okay. Woo. Question for you, Rock, is what if your hobby is killing kids?
What?
Well, I don't think that's... Yeah,
is that English?
I think someone in chat was asking, well, like, we want to go for our hobbies, but what if your hobby is dangerous? If it's dangerous, you shouldn't.
Kids want to build communism.
Dai has had a good day playing visual novels. Ooh. What kind of visual novel was it? So Pulsar said that he found me through D3. So it's one of those guys that I've known for years, and we actually used to play a lot of games together, like, because as you do, like, when you're all like sort of starting out, you get to make friends with people, and then you just play games with everyone, and then you just have a fun time. Pulsar stuck around because you seem like a nice dude. Well, that's how I grab you. I'm like a Venus flytrap. You're like, ooh, this is kind of like sweet, and I'll sit here, and then I'm like, I gotcha. Now I can tell you just how terrible I am. So if we go on Dai, because Dai is our greatest example. Jen says that they've been stuck with Dai for like 3 years. Help. I can't help you. Once a streamer has you in their net, you can't escape unless they do something horrendous, which I have seen.
So this D3 guy is someone you met while streaming, right? Or was he your acquaintance friend before?
No. So a lot of these guys, so Dai, D3, Impervious, they're three dudes that sort of started out the same time I started out, but they've just been sort of constant on that like Twitch thing where they've been going for it. So Dai says it's been rocky. You'll have a lot of bad days, but the good ones make it better seeing chat happy and the good vibes. I couldn't agree more with that. I think finding a way to get I think finding a way to navigate those bad days is probably the most... I think if there's any imparting knowledge you can give to anybody, it's trying to find a way to navigate those bad days. And it could be different for everybody else. Like, the fact that, like, because you asked me, like, you know, I took hiatuses. How do you navigate those bad days? Well, I didn't. I didn't. That's why I disappeared from Twitch. That's why I'll always, like, be here to try to help other people out, because you like, if you can't find a way to navigate those rocky days, you stagnate, and then like a year or two will pass and you'll be like, oh holy crap, I haven't done anything like productive for like the last 2 years. So trying to find people, just trying to find a way that you can work through it is so important to just being a functioning human being, a functioning adult. And it can be tough.
I like the thing you said before, like you said, don't lie to yourself. I think it's the biggest thing, because you're probably gonna go on and say like, it's fine, I'm fine, I'm doing this for fun, but you're probably not, maybe. Yeah, you have to not lie and know how to adjust things to make it comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, it can be tough to be honest with yourself, because it's so, for some people with very low self-esteem, it's so easy to just pack stuff away, put it in a box and say, well, you know what, it doesn't matter, let's put it up on the shelf, I'll just keep grinding through it. And that's the easiest thing you can do. The hardest thing is grabbing that box, unpacking it and going, well, let's pick through the rubbish, through the garbage. It's difficult, and not everyone's comfortable doing it. I know I've got friends that they really don't they don't enjoy having chats like that, because it makes them so uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And you've got to sort of respect people, and you've got to respect the time that they need to sort of go through that stuff, but not abandoning somebody because they might take longer than you, right? Let's catch up with chat. Dai keeps on pushing, just keeps on pushing through it. Samurai, yeah, that's. I mean, you're a stronger character than I, for sure. That's for sure.
We all are samurais.
That's that's why I thought you'd be the best person to ask. And Jen is another streamer. She actually streams art like pretty much consistently, and someone that is actually an artist. Jen, is there something you can share with us? Because you have to be very vulnerable as an artist to stream that. Like, I know that you've said in your last stream, what was it, yesterday? The process is like, how do I draw this? I can't draw this. This sucks. This is garbage. You know what, it's okay. Like, how did you get to be so vulnerable with your art that you were able to share it with people? Because some people would never want to do that. They'd be like, oh, I can't because it's terrible. If I don't like it, no one else is going to like it. Like, if I said...
Interesting. Yeah, sorry.
Rock, if I said to you, just make like, grab your guitar and, like, play something for us, you might be like, whoa, hold on.
Yeah, too bad it's a bit too late to do that, but I wanted to say, like, we even have Bob Ross, who is, like, holy crap, like, the best artist and painter, but funny enough, he painted all the paintings before actually doing on the show, so he did, like, 3 paintings. He did before, during, and then he also did after, I think, or something like that.
Okay.
So it's quite interesting. You know, there are people who are really preparing, you know, drawing an art and then doing it on the show. And I'm thinking about the Twitch. This is the moment when you come up and you don't know what's gonna happen. You have this empty canvas, your pencil, paper, whatever. Like,
yeah, it's not a scheduled
I'm gonna
TV
draw
show.
something, but I'm not sure what's it gonna be. So I think that's actually the scary part. Exciting and very scary, because you're being judged by others, but you're gonna deliver something. So it's quite interesting.
I mean, with Twitch, it's such a stream of consciousness, and you have to sort of be... You have to sort of be able to go with the flow. I don't know why that was like where I went to, but that's also like why I started doing webcam on stream, because I think if I talk to somebody normally and we're just chilling out, I have a very monotone voice. It's not very
It's very good voice.
It's. Well,
I think you can,
it's
you can
okay.
You can lure me. You can lure me in with that voice.
So I've got this new society that I'm thinking starts with C, ends with M. Red flag, hammer and sickle. I'm thinking that we should get the kids together. Brothers and sisters. Anyway, that's for me. I get the most out of. I think I was secretly born Italian. I don't know. I get the most out of speaking when I'm speaking with my body.
I love that. Yeah, it's really cool.
Some people
Body language.
do not want their cam on at all, so some people choose VTubing or whatever. That's cool, but I don't know why I said that, but there you go. I guess there you go.
That's something sort of that inspired me from you, because I remember you came into my stream when I was playing Zelda, and I was like, okay, this harpy dude, I want to be his friend. And I checked out what you were doing.
You poor innocent soul.
And I saw like, oh, like when you did that Christmas video where you sang, and I'm like,
yes,
yes, that's what I want to be. Like, I want to feel that free to do, like, you know, express yourself fully, not just with voice, but with your whole body. Yeah, and all the dances you did, it's like every little thing. It's really
It's because
good.
I don't mind being a bit of a clown online. Like that's.
Yeah,
It just
he's
goes
a
back to,
singer
like-
as well.
No, not a singer. That was like a
Yeah.
joke thing for Christmas.
You can't fake that, man. I have a degree in this shit.
Do you really? Oh, I didn't. Okay. Okay. Well, the range is very small. Let me just catch up on chat because everyone's saying some good stuff. Something about my
Yeah.
Greek statuesque jawline. I think that's pure flattery, and you're gonna have to. You're getting banned for that. No false flattery in chat. See what Jen, the artist who streams quite a lot. It took her like 2 years to even want to talk about original characters. And with people that you know. So knowing the audience, okay? If you know that they're welcoming in you being vulnerable and sometimes not really knowing what you're doing with, that they're okay with it, then it's good. No, that makes sense. I think if I sort of recontextualize that for everyone is that set the audience's expectations that you're just going through that creative process. That you're not going to end up on stream with a masterpiece. That actually, I think that right there you said sort of setting up the thing about being welcoming to be vulnerable. And that's something I only recently learned for myself. Is that I've like in the Discord I was like, look guys, it's not like me to be vulnerable out in the open, but I think it helps because then by you sort of saying, look, I'm not perfect, I have flaws, other people can be like, oh well, you know what, I struggle too, and then you can foster a community in which other people help each other. But not everyone's going to be Jen also says it's pretty liberating when you realize you don't always have to be super serious about things, and that's why I've recently been like, you know what, let's do some streams. If it sucks, it sucks, and so far, I'm very glad that we just, Rock, you and I, we just like, yeah, let's do it. And you even to me, you hyped me up the other day. I was like, hey, this is probably gonna suck, I don't have any preparation. You're like, yeah, but like, you know, it'll be an experience. And I'm like, yeah, it'll be a learning experience. You're right.
Yeah,
and it's been so good so far. We haven't even touched video games. I love it. Like, dude, I can't tell you how much I so enjoy being able to just talk to somebody about stuff. And now that we've got 2 chats to sort of chime in, it's so good. Can you draw Harpy as a disfigured otter? That's a
Otter? Why that?
So like my little like stream mascot. Because like back when I like was trying to take it seriously, I was like, you've got to have a mascot. You've got to have something.
Very serious.
And so I thought back, true story, I thought back to a grandparent of mine that I didn't know for very long because they passed away when I was young. But they always had these like otter statuettes by the fireplace. And for some reason, like that had got buried in my subconscious and I didn't think about it for years until maybe 2016. A friend of mine asked like, oh, what's your favorite animal or something? And I was like, I like otters. They're cool. In a weird way, I've sort of carried that with me for forever, and it's like, they're cute. I don't know. They're these cute little animals. Everyone's gonna pick cats or dogs or whatever, but I don't know. I like them. They're cute. That's it. I've got no answer for you other than they're nice.
Damn.
What's
Very
your favorite
simple.
animal?
Mine?
Yeah.
Or oh damn.
Chat as well. What is everybody's favorite animal? What's your spirit animal, chat?
Me be a spirit animal.
I'm an eagle because I'm powerful and free.
Oh, I'm just gonna read one nice thing Humanity just wrote. He says, one of the things I like about you, Rock, is that you allow me to be vulnerable in a way I don't take advantage of it when I am. Damn. Thanks you.
That's such an like a mature adult thing to say, because yeah, like there are people that will like be sort of like a leech, like a vampire. They'll be like, once you sort of say, hey, look, anything you need to like open up, go for it. Some people leech onto that, and that's like they'll start sucking you dry. So
yeah,
what Hugh said is like crazy mature, like being able to what's the word I'm thinking of? I can't think of the word. Help. Do it in like a respectful way. No, I can't think of the word. Oh, my brain's melting.
For me, it's just a mutual thing, because the thing I've very struggled a lot as a child is that I grew up with women, and I'm actually a very feminine guy. I have so much feelings, and I care about everyone.
You're not a real man.
I'm not a real man, and and
suck up those tears.
And basically, like, the society what tells us we have to be men, we have to be strong, we have to like not care about emotions. Emotion sucks. It's only for bad and stuff like that. And now that I'm communicating with some people, I sometimes hit the wall just because they're not really open up, and it's really hard to get to know someone. It's really frustrating. You sort of want to, go through that barrier,
break the walls down.
And yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. It's such a mutual thing, because if someone opens up, then the other will open up very easily.
Respect.
As well, so.
That's the word. Yeah, there's a respect there that you can have that back and forth. So
yeah, you establish this safe environment as well. And I'm really expressing this to guys. I don't know, like I believe, at least for guys, it's such a hard thing to grasp emotions and to actually allow themselves to feel. Like, I don't know how many of you can cry. Like, I've spent years learning how to cry. I just feel so much tension, couldn't cry. And yeah, just dealing through my things. It's, oh my God, it's so liberating sometimes to just feel that pain and just, you watch a sensitive movie, you're just, crying.
I think, do you know what's crazy? Ever. I think a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, I think some of us have to learn to suppress feelings or suppress natural urges like crying, or, for example, for me, for years I would have to be like sort of the quiet one in the house. So I would, like, if I found something funny, I would try very hard to suppress that, to the point where like I can't, like, until recently it's been very hard to sort of naturally just laugh when I felt like it. So it's the same for like crying, just you rob yourself of a very human experience if you do something like that. And it's sad because people are boxed into family units or societies where it's like, well, you have to, otherwise you're the outlier, you're the strange one, there's something wrong with you. And that's why many people escape to the internet. So if there's something to lighten the mood a little bit, we asked what everybody's favorite animals were. Jen says orcas, because they're freaking great. They're scary. They're huge. I'd be scared of being near one, but it would be a magical experience.
Yeah.
Blues is a dog, but then I know that anyway because she draws a lot of like fantastical, mythical dog-like things over on her Instagram, which is Blue Noel.
Blue Noel, okay, I'll check that out.
A warthog, because that's what I look like. No, Furon, you do not look like a warthog. You are a strong, short king Viking. You look like a Viking, and I wouldn't want to. I'd be scared of you. Giraffes. Giraffes are unique ones. I like them. They're strange. Jen agrees with you about, what was it? Having to suppress a lot, because otherwise, oh no, the women is all emotional again. What do we do?
Yeah, but that's stupid.
Suppressing yourself, yeah.
Thing is, I know I did a bad thing of saying, dudes, but because I just sort of feel like, okay, guys, we really need to open up. But the thing
I think it's different for the different
things
sexes.
Are very human. It's very human, so it's not, deliberately guy-women thing. Feeling is a thing. That's not
I
to
th-
suppress that.
I think it's the same issue, but the context for like a guy or a woman might be different. Because for a guy, it's like, well, you aren't supposed to cry. You're not supposed to show emotion. If you are, you're weak. For a woman, it's kind of like, this is, we're talking wildly stereotypical here. So don't cancel me, Twitter. But for like a woman, it'll be like, oh, well, you're sensitive anyway. Stop it, because, you're just trying to use it to your advantage. Apparently, Dai has a giraffe folder. But it's not a euphemism, I'm sure. That's
Wow.
the code name for the porn for the porn folder.
Humanity also mentioned giraffe, but he says like, oh, it's actually ocean sunfish, his favorite. And we got
They're weird.
we got someone who says that their favorite animal is a potato. Potato. Seriously.
I'm not sure that counts unless it sprouts legs and starts running around. If that's the case, I'd be terrified. Would that be cool or terrifying? If just vegetables started sprouting limbs and eyes, and they started running around.
That's an idea for a drawing.
Like, I was just thinking about that. I was recently watching someone play Cuphead. One of the bosses is like sentient vegetables. Would we still be okay to eat them if they were like little cartoon characters running around? Would you be okay to decapitate a carrot for your stew? Could you do it? Could you look in that carrot's eyes and say, sorry, buddy, your vitamin A is just too good?
Ooh, damn.
Would you give him the chop? Serious question. Would you kill sentient vegetables?
Me? Okay.
Yes! I'm asking you.
I thought you were speaking to your chat. Okay.
No.
Yeah, as I said, I'm pretty sensitive to things, so sometimes I find myself in video games like, no, I don't want to do this. And I know like the design is meant that way, that I have to do certain things. Like there's in Hollow Knight, for example, you have to defeat dreamers, which are just the nicest bugs ever, that they're just sealing the crazy creature that's gonna destroy the world, but you have to go kill that creature, and so you have to kill as well those dreamers. And I was like, no, I really don't want to do this. So I couldn't, but I still, no, that's not the way. It's hard for me, but I can do it. That's what I want to say.
You gotta sort of overcome this empathy, almost.
I mean, if it was a real life situation, probably not. But again, I want to think about video games and in real life, Sometimes in video games you're designed to do certain things, but you sort of might feel like there's no other option, and might be actually another option. And I love these games where they have like the question of morality, whether you can choose to spare someone and not to spare, and probably Undertale would be the best example, because you think you have to kill everyone. You think, but you don't, and that's the thing. And the same things happens in real life. We create stupid things to convince ourselves that what we're doing is right, when it's actually not, and it's like selfish or something like that. And I really love to catch myself in these situations and be like,
well, you don't know what you don't know, right? With Undertale, I got to sort of like a quarter of the way, or like halfway through the game, playing it neutral, not realizing you could spare creatures. And so for me, that then like ruined the experience. It's like, well, I've got to start again. I have to start again. Knowing that I can do that, I must. It's like with other games, like Metal Gear Solid is a good example. You can play it lethally or non-lethally. You can tranquilize all the guards, and even the bosses you can spare. And there's something in me that's like, whether it's for the challenge or the humanity aspect, I don't know what it is, but I'm like, I have to. Like, there's something about it.
They deliberately choose to do something harder. For what reason?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the kind of person that enjoys Dark Souls games. I think there's something broken inside. There's something masochistic. I don't know what it is, but Sekiro.
Tasty.
I love that game, but man, I've never been as angry at a video game before than playing Sekiro. But I've also never enjoyed overcoming a challenge more, so it's one of those things. Going back on what you said earlier, Jen saying that it sucks when people look down on you for just expressing things. Yeah, and it's terrible. And I think I have to wonder, like, are some people just that nasty, or have they been taken advantage of at some point by other people's emotions? Like, that's why Hugh said earlier, like, he's so glad that there's like that respect where you can be vulnerable and not take advantage. And it's so easy to cross a line where some people do take advantage, and that's why you gotta surround yourself with good people. You gotta sort of weed out the less than stellar people.
I think I see an upcoming challenge in this kind of situation, because I sort of feel like I started a community and I feel like I'm responsible of how it grows and stuff. But I know that there might be moments where mean people will come up to this community and start like doing, stuff. And, it might be in my power to even stop them, but sort of you as a like creator or a host is sort of your responsibility, right? But at the same, it is and it is not.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant talking point, actually. Like, how responsible is the influencer, the YouTuber, the streamer, whatever like buzzword you want to use? How much responsibility do they have? And I think it's heavily context based. But I'm a bit more sort of lax that, like, if somebody comes and watches my streams and they're generally a decent person, but then they go out that night and like assault somebody, I'm not like responsible for that person. I think you're only responsible when and this is my personal opinion, the person's only responsible when they say, oh hey, everyone that I know that I have a relationship with, you should go and attack this guy because I said so. Because there will be some people that you can't control. Like, to think that these creators can control their fan base, I think is a farce. They can't. You can say, hey guys, please don't do that. But some people, you're always going to get people that are going to be nasty anyway. And you can't control those people. They're still humans. They're not drones. So you can say that you disavow them. You can say that you wish they wouldn't. But you'll also get people that will take the worst apples and blame it on you. So let's say 2 years from now, 30 people that watch your streams go and trash someone's game that they made, right? And they go, hey, these people came from you, you're responsible. At Rocktopus, twitch.tv, with 2 O's. Like, what can you do? Like, there's some point where you go, well, you got to hold your hands up and say, I can't, like, there's only so much you can do, man.
Yeah, but the context thing is very hard, because you can take anything out of context, and that's the how to say, something inevitable. You can twist and change everything. And I want to share some things that humanity is now sharing, because it's kind of also very interesting. He said,
please, yeah,
that
if like, don't let me ramble on too much.
Yeah, he said he used to trust people more when he was younger. Back when he had more money than now, he got scammed for almost $1,000 and just ruined the ability to trust someone like for a really long time. So he says, luckily everyone is nice so far, like where we are with the community.
Yeah. That's awful. Like, clearly that's not something to get into on a public platform, but
that's the thing. These things happen to everyone, and as much as careful you may be, you can just really get into these situations, and it's just, it's
no one's judge of character is perfect.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, and it's not that, in this case, humanity. It's not like you not being smart or something. It's just these things just unfortunately happen, and that is it. You can't really do anything about it. I guess.
It's such a.
The most important, of course, thing is not to like really lose complete trust, because I don't know why people tend to do this thing that, like, if a good thing happens to us, we don't take that habit, but if something really bad happens, we become like super tight and insecure. And yeah, that's sort of my wish. Like,
human condition,
opening
I think.
more will definitely still bring a lot of value, but still being careful, probably, especially the internet. And what you share, but yeah,
it's a balancing act.
Mm-hmm.
It can be difficult to find that balance, because, like you said, like, someone might have one bad experience and then that's them done for good. So it's rough, because you don't want to become, like, sometimes I'll see videos of like public freakouts or some people just being nuisances to other people in the street, and I look at that and I don't think, wow, what an ass. I think, like, what happened to that person for them to be that way? And how do I not be that person? So I think Hugh saying like, you know, them going through a really terrible like experience and having that trust completely fractured and broken, but being able to have that intelligence be like, okay, that sucks, it happened to me, but I'm not gonna let that define me. And I think that's just good life advice in general. Like something that, like, you can go through something terrible, don't let that define you. And it might
that
take
applies
years,
to everything. Oh my god, such a good word you found. Don't let your work defy you. Don't let your like what you said defy you, because you know some things just don't happen the way you want to. So even with creating things, you know, it doesn't mean that you're bad at creating. It just didn't go well. That's all. Or like mistakes happen, or like these tragic
There's
situations
always
where
tomorrow.
someone steals something from you.
I mean, that's the thing. Like you, like with the rare exception that you have like 24 hours to live, there is always tomorrow for you to try again. And that can be the hardest thing to get up out of bed. For me personally, like where I've been in my journey, it's like even getting out of bed, it's like, why bother? Like it's just gonna suck today. So finding that strength just to get out of bed, make the bed, have a shower, or, you know, clean yourself up. Like, okay, what am I gonna do today? Just try to make yourself proud.
Yeah, but people, they tend to think like they undervalue the little things. So I have like anxiety stuff, and from my childhood, I was a very anxious kid, you know, hyperventilating and stuff. So up until this day, I'm what, 27-year-old dude, I still struggle with accepting the fact that I must sit down and breathe and learn to breathe. And it's a practice that you do, which is like sort of so natural, right? But you have to do it still. And it's such a powerful little exercise to do. You know, you breathe in, calm down, and you're a different person. You can go conquer the world now. But it's for some reason, you know, I'm getting up from bed, this can't be a goal. I'm such a loser, you know. But for some people, it is. It is, you know, you put your mental energy to it and to just go through that process. And that's already a big achievement. So not comparing yourself with others, just being truthful to yourself. Okay, what can I do next? What is the attainable thing? And just be proud of you actually doing it. So
well, knowing that everyone's sort of like, it's like, and I was so cynical, like in my early 20s, like, but so saying this, like 20-year-old Harpy would be rolling his eyes so far back into his skull. But like everyone, like genuinely, they are on their own journey. Like, so for me, I'm still naive in the fact that I'm like, well, oh, someone's like in their 30s that I'm friends with, they must have things sorted out. They must have wisdom that I don't. That's not necessarily true. You've got to value your own path on life. And like you say, do the little things, despite how pathetic it might seem. Like, for me, I've really struggled with eating for years, right? So as pathetic as it might sound to people, like me being like, I must eat a breakfast, I must eat something when I wake up. Like, to my mind, I'm like, well, that's stupid, because some people can do that without thinking. They can look after themselves, and that's fine. But for me, it's like, I've really got to put effort into, like, make sure you eat a meal. Make sure you do that, and you look after yourself. And it's taken a little while for me to be like, move from, like, that's pathetic, that's stupid, people can do that anyway, to a more mature thing of, like, well, I'm not everybody. I have to look after myself. And so Jen says, get a cat, they'll bother you when you miss feeding time. Great routine. Find a routine. If you find a way how to help yourself, that's good. I kind of noticed what I do, at least. I narrow the effort. For example, if I need to, like, I don't know, it's not maybe a good thing to do, but I'll take your example, Harpy. If I were need to eat something, right, I would put either, like, food somewhere easier to attain. Like, for me, for example, coming up to a kitchen, open up the fridge, taking something out, heating up is already too many steps. Yeah.
So if I can have, like, something that doesn't need to be heated, but, you know, you place it somewhere that you can see, it will be much easier to, like, kind of pick it up. And I do the same thing with other things. Like, I drop my guitar out of a case somewhere on the bed so that I could take it, because otherwise, if it's gonna be in the case, I'll never touch it.
Absolutely.
So
minimizing.
Couldn't
agree more. Like, I've recently just started, like, cooking chicken breasts in batch and cutting them up. Like, getting some herbs and seasoning together, some olive oil over it, seasoning it all up, cooking a bunch more than I could eat in one sitting, but then putting it in like a Tupperware box and be like, well, it's in the fridge. If I'm hungry, if I need to make a quick meal, I can now do that with no effort. So, like, as silly as it sounds to maybe like, I think we compare ourselves as like the perfect sort of logical like thing of what a human could be, but we just try to push it onto society. Like, oh well, everyone's going to think I'm stupid, but it's more like, well, I think that a perfect human being can look after themselves and eat and sleep properly and work hard, but it's an ideal that maybe you're chasing that you don't even want, that's sort of been put into your brain.
One thing I cannot...
You gotta work 9 to 5, but not for it.
I cannot grasp the fact that we still have normalized this whole thing that, you know, we all are different and it's just... And we all, you know, feel the same level of despair and happiness, whether whether you are a CEO of something very stressful and $1 million at stake and someone who just lost a cat. They're feeling the same level of despair. You know, you can't compare them, but in the feeling way, they feel the same. So, yeah, just...
It's so easy to just look at humans and like, well, it's just so easy to look at someone and just forget that they feel. We do that, like, I do that as well. Like, everyone does it at some point. Trying to catch yourself and be like, well, hold on. You know. But okay, that's why I think...
Yeah, how do you deal with the situations where unconsciously or without any intention you hurt someone? Like, how do you process that stuff? Like, I don't know. For example, someone's very... they have like low self-esteem about their looks, and you comment on their nose, like saying, oh, that's such a cool nose, like you look so interesting, you know. It's such a simple thing, right? But someone has like a huge history behind how in childhood they were like bullied and their parents didn't love him because he was like Nosy Joe or something. I don't know.
Oh my God.
There's a whole history behind and we don't know about it, right? But we have to deal with the consequences of our actions. So I'm interested in you, Harpy. How do you deal with those situations?
So before I touch on that, let's both catch up on our chats.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, so Jen's saying that she was like, she's in her mid-30s. She doesn't still have everything all sorted out, but does feel more confident in doing a lot of other things. More so than when they were sort of like in their 20s. That's why I think it's good to have someone like that you can look up to. You might not have everything sorted out, but I can look to you, Jen, and be like, well, you know what? Like, because you are so, like, genuinely very kind. And I look at that and I go, like, how can someone be that, like, supportive? But last night I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, well, you must have had your struggles in your 20s, and you've come out the other end to be this person. I'm like, well, okay, I want to take that experience that you've gone through and impart it into myself, which is sort of... Maybe it's a little bit what you're after with your Twitch journey, Rock, is that you want to go through this journey and come out of it a better person. So whether that means taking bits and pieces from other people to bolstering yourself.
Yeah.
Taking the better... Like, with art, taking the better parts that you like and giving it to yourself. It's just recycling things and having a good time, man. So, the question was... How do I go about if I've just unintentionally upset somebody?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm the best person to ask. We might need more context. Am I friends with them? Like, do I care about this person?
You know, let's go that route. Yeah, it's someone close to you, friend, or I don't know, family member, and yeah.
So here's how I would like start deconstructing and rationalizing it in my brain is like, did I say it as a joke? Did I say it sort of offhandedly? Like, so I said it as a joke, like, or I said like, what are you talking about? That's a cool nose, like, whatever.
It's a bad example, but you know.
No, it's cool. We'll run with it. I'd have to think like, okay, that hurt the person. Accepting the responsibility that you hurt them. But at what point, like, I think this might sound bad for some people, but I think it's a two-way street. So let's say you said something like, Harper, you're so skinny, right? Like, I'd be like, it's a little bit on, it's how you say it and your intention, but it's also on me a little bit for how I take it. So if you sort of do it as a joke or a compliment, that's then on me to sort of really use my brain and like, well, did they mean it that way? So that's why I think I'm not the best person to ask something like that, because it's I think offense and upsetting somebody is a two-way thing. Like, did I really upset them and that's something that really struck a nerve? I think you go to that person like, look, I didn't mean it. I was trying to joke. Let them understand where you're coming from. And then give them the opportunity to understand where they're coming from. And from that, you can sort of judge whether or not an apology is necessary or where you go from that. Like, when you meet somebody, you start pushing boundaries. You start sort of joking about some things. You want to know where the line is.
Yeah. That's a
and
good
that's
observation.
a totally normal thing to do. And then if you overstep the line, if they blow up, that's sort of on them. Like, you have to be respectful, like, on both sides. Like, let's say you made some joke that I sort of found a bit like, like, maybe you approach it at the end of the day, like, hey dude, like, I know we're just joking about, but this one thing kind of like rubbed me the wrong way. Like, I know we're all like joking and stuff here, but like, could we not just on that one thing? I think it's about like being respectful on both sides. Saying that, let's go back to the original question. If I knew about it and I joked about it, it would be me trying to push the boundaries a little bit to see if they were comfortable, and then I'd have to apologize. I'd be like, look, dude, I'm sorry, I was just getting too into it. I thought, like, you know, because we're good friends, it might be a bit easier, but nah, I fucked up. That's on me. I've had to, like, it's gonna sound funny, but being sort of with my girlfriend has taught me to be a bit more considerate of other people, and like,
same here.
learning when an apology is necessary and when maybe it's better to actually understand why they were upset instead of just saying, oh, I'm sorry I upset you. Because it's so easy to go, oh, sorry. But
then it's not a
knowing
genuine
why.
apology.
Yeah, you need to know why you're being, like, apologetic, and maybe a bit controversial, but maybe learning why they're upset, you might not need to apologize.
Well, I'm sorry I said something that you're so offended of.
Yeah, it's
like
it's
making
like,
an apology, just saying that they're
you
the
can
one.
be like the Redditor version of it and be like, oh, sorry I offended you, it's the internet. Or you can be like too much, be like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to, oh. But really, you need to be in the middle, like.
Probably, yeah. Dude,
I don't know.
it's such a unique way with every single person. So that's what's interesting me, and that's what I kind of think of what wisdom is, because you know information, and then you just use it differently, and you kind of, you know, you see your audience or you see a person that you're talking to, and you kind of scan it, you know how and what to say. So I think that's very wise to just know whether you need to apologize, whether you need to take like any attention to it. But yeah, why ask this question? Because it's such an often thing. Like, in everyone probably again relates to this, that they really are trying to be best nice people, and then accidentally they're like, oh, now I'm a jerk, you know. What do I do about it?
Yeah, I don't think you should, for me personally, I don't set up myself as being the nicest person in the world. Like, I think it's, for me personally, I think it's good to be sort of frank to people. Like, look, you might enjoy the streams, or you might have fun, and you might think I'm a nice person, but I've got issues just like you. I can be nasty, I can be inconsiderate at times. So that's why whenever anyone says like, oh, but you're so nice or whatever, you seem, I'm like, it's like,
It's something,
you know.
it's something that you wrote to me when we were just whispering on Twitch. You said like,
Oh yeah?
I'm an inconsiderate, arrogant bastard.
Oh, really?
Like, I was like, you know what? Me too.
Yeah. But I think it's knowing that, you know? Knowing that, like, I wouldn't want to fool someone into think like, I'm so nice, I'm so lovely, come here, I'll look after you. It's like, no, not at all. Let me catch up on chat real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm catching on the chat as well. Hugh says, it's even harder to do when you're talking to someone over text.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
I don't even know how text is an option. I would be the one who'd be like, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm just dialing, calling, or what? What are you gonna wrote me an emoji and I'm gonna understand what you're feeling or saying. Like, no.
I
mean,
think it
it's
depends
possible
on the
to
person.
read behind
There's
text,
a blend.
but
Oh, without a doubt, that's why I try to. If I'm texting somebody, I'll try to text how I speak. So I speak with a lot of slang. Oh, I'm gonna like, gonna this, a that. Like, it's not perfect English because I'm trying to my best ability, I'm trying to convey what I'm actually saying. Which is why, and this is not to throw shade at anybody, but I can't stand when someone, well, no. I gotta be careful how I word this. For me personally, if I put LOL as a response, that's me coming off so insincere, and it's like one of those things like, is it really funny, or are you just like being like lol? But it's understanding the person that you're talking to.
whenever I hear someone writing lol, I imagine them being like,
Yeah,
oh,
like
lol.
you pour your heart out to someone, you're like, and I couldn't believe it. I've been feeling pent up for years, but I'm so glad we could finally talk about this. Lol. But not everyone's like that, so.
Hugh heads up that he's not sure that he speaks the same way that he texts someone.
Yeah, so I've got people in chat like, Jen, no,
Yeah.
I know, you're so genuine when you say that. Like, I can't put that on you because I know how you speak and I know how you are. But that's why I take that as, for me, I couldn't do it. That's why I avoid stuff like that. That's why I'll use like little emojis or I'll type in ha ha ha. Now, however cheesy that is, but they're like, you know, if I'm laughing, I'm laughing. So I wouldn't want to like turn to someone and say, I hate this, don't you ever do this. Nah, man. I just say like, this is not for me. I think it's more mature for you to say, look, that's not for me, I'm gonna move on. Like, because when I was a teenager, I'd like watch cringy people online. That was, for some reason, that was like crack to me. I would like watch cringe, like, oh, this person's such a loser. And then I grew up and I'm like, nah, man, like, that's not right. That's not cool. Like, we've all gone through some stuff like that. And now I'll just watch it and be like, oh, I'll have a little giggle and I'll be like, that poor person. But
You cringe on yourself that you used to be the guy who just laughed at people.
absolutely, yeah, no, like I've got so many regrets in my life that I look back on and I go, I'm glad I'm not that guy anymore. Like there was like one time in my teen years where I had this friend and we were sort of falling out, and I went nuclear. I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna like, if we're falling out anyway, I'm gonna like make sure that I'm the one that like ruins it, which was such a petulantly childish thing to do, and I regret that because like me and him were chill for like the longest time. It was just some stupid thing that we started disagreeing with, and it's like maturing after that, I'm like, I hope that person's doing better than me, because like that was such a dumb thing to do. It's like we all make mistakes. I think proper maturity and growing up is learning from that and being like, okay, well, that's not cool. Let me catch up with what Jen's saying. Not the end of the world, sure, yeah. Jen is kind until the other person is not. That's how you are. Okay, that's fair. Yeah. I'll be like respectful to somebody until they just turn into a bit of a nasty person. At that point, I just don't bother. I don't have the energy to deal with people like that. No point.
I think it's necessity to be mean sometimes, actually, and especially when it comes to sort of protecting your close people, because you might say, "Oh, I'm a good guy, I don't do bad things," but if someone's, shitting on your friends or something, you gotta step up, really. So I'm not sure if I'm getting what Jen says, but it sounds like, if there's certain situations, then she's gonna be the bad person, but it's actually the good thing that she.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to get on Jen's bad side. Like, for real. But I think that's a good way to, like, sort of let yourself be open to be... Yeah, she said you've nailed it. You've nailed it. Like, absolutely. Like be nice to the people you're close to. But if someone's being, like you said, like being a piece of work, then you've got to, like, step up. She also says, you've just kind of described life experience right there. It's taking parts of experiences to sort of make it easier for yourself. You don't necessarily have to experience a lot of things to feel empathy. Yeah. You can... I think I'm a bit stubborn in some things where I have to learn the hard way, but in other things I'll look at other people's experience and go, okay, well I'm gonna take that for myself and not go through that. Blue says, to be honest, I say lol more for myself than other people. So it's like, okay, I never thought about that. Like it's
Like
just
your
a
own
way for you to
personal-
respond. Like so that I guess in a conversational text that you're having, letting the other person know that you're still there. It's more like a, huh, I laughed at that, but it's also letting you know that they laughed. Maybe. It says, I'm polite, but respect is earned. I absolutely agree. Yeah, I can't stand people that like just assume that they deserve respect. It's like, that's not how that works. Like, let's say you start a new job and the manager just expects you to respect them and everything they say. I'm like, dude, that's not how this works. That's like, you have hierarchical power over me, and I will do what you say, but respect you, that's another thing. That's a whole other thing.
Well, you earn respect, so the position doesn't, grant you that power.
I think the lesser people would believe that because they have that position, they've earned their respect, but that's not.
Expectations is still a whole thing. I always have trouble with that. You conversate with people, but then you don't establish like what to expect from each other, and especially relationships. Everyone just gets completely hurt. Oh, you should have done that, and well, you should have showed me or told me. I can't just gather from from
Being
nothing.
honest. Yeah, being honest with each other is can be so important, not just in like romantic relationships, but in friendships as well. Like, I've had a buddy of mine since the end of like high school, college basically, who we were both shitty people, if I'm being honest. We were like very like short-tempered, like troubled people, and we would clash sometimes. But since we sort of grown up, it's like, well, you can be honest with each other and like know now where like boundaries are and like when to gauge a person's response. So you don't have to go through the calamity of fallouts. You can be a bit more mature and just say like, hey, this is how I am, this is how things are. Take it or leave it, I suppose. I don't know. Who says doing the whole LOL thing makes texting a lot less stressful? I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, I guess because for me it's like, it's not difficult. Like, I don't struggle to converse with somebody. I might think about how I want to say something, but I never considered that some people like sort of struggle. It's like, oh well, it's stressful to like respond to people, or like, because I think when a lot of our conversations nowadays are online and they are through texts, where do you strike the balance between ignoring somebody but also wanting to be like involved? Language is going to evolve. Who knows? Who knows where we'll be in like 50 years, how we'll be talking. Chance, is it like nervously laughing IRL? Oh yeah, it is. See, just from chat being there, they've been able to like unravel some like mystery that's been stuck in the brain. Jen's also saying that body language and tone of voice is not there. Yeah, so it's so easy to misread things. Like, me and my girlfriend might start arguing over something because we've misread something on text, and I'll like, cool, and I'll be like, what's going on? Like, I didn't mean it like that. And she'll be like, oh, well, I didn't mean it like that. And it's like, oh. But yeah, body language and tone is impossible to pick up from text. Who knows? Rock, let me ask you.
Yeah, sure.
What was the last thing, like, has there been anything recently in your life where you've reflected on something, any event or any interaction you had with somebody, and that let you learn a little bit more about yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely. But for some reason, the first thing pops up in my head is not like very recent, but 2 years ago actually.
Okay.
I went to live in the Netherlands for a year, and there I was learning game development because it was just a better environment to learn that stuff. And thing about Dutch people, they're very direct. They
Oh yeah.
will say what they feel, what they are thinking, and they kind of establish that in their culture. That's, you know, don't get offended. It's just the truth. Deal with it. You
Okay.
know?
Okay.
And I loved it. And one time, like I was just spending time with guys that I met at college, like and
Mhm.
stuff, and they said to me, like, they look at me like, you know, Rock, for some reason, whenever we're together, it just really doesn't feel like you're there. Like you're always just gathering, just sort of like it's a necessity or something. And I was like, wait, what? That's how like people are perceiving me. And you know, I got hurt because, funny enough, it was true.
Yeah.
It was true. I was like taking benefit of having some, you know, connections in some way because I thought like, oh, I'll have this connection, then maybe something will be good. But you know, that really put me like in my face, and I was like, yeah, I'm just an asshole who's taking advantage of some people. And then I thought, oh my god, I'm just putting all my life just work and accomplishing things and setting goals, and I'm like neglecting, you know, people and just connections and having that. And you know what? That experience actually led to the point I am now, where I'm enjoying, you know, and putting priority to people and having these conversations. So
That's crazy.
thank God for that Dutch
Yeah.
person who came in just in my face, just spat in my face, just, you know, I had to drink my own saliva or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
I
yeah, you were
really
just
needed that.
closed off. Yeah, no, and it was beneficial for you, and I think it was also great of you to not like, I guess, snap back at him, and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, get out of here. Because some people, like, I think that's a very mature way to handle it. Like, yeah, it might have hurt you, but you reflected on it. Some people don't even want to do that.
Yeah.
People say, oh, well,
I mean,
that's just how I am.
the first step was like, you know, it's not what you're talking about. You don't know about anything. And I'm like, dude, stop lying. It's true. He's saying the truth.
Yeah. Well, two people in chat are like, oh, yeah, I've heard about the Dutch. And then Pulsar is like, can relate as a Dutch guy. So,
Aw, shout out. You guys are awesome.
Also
Keep
nice.
doing it.
so, that then brings me to,
I'll
I guess-
answer the chat thing.
go for it,
So humanity also just goes through some deep stuff. So I want to read them out. It says,
please.
I wish I could apologize to some people, but it's sometimes even never. It's better not to bother them, especially if they have forgotten what happened. And to that, I think what I would do is probably I would take in account of my own emotions, and if I feel regret and wanting to express an apology, I would still do it, whether they remember it or not. You know, that would just take some things off my shoulders and not like my chest more. Yeah. So that's what I
think
would do, you.
Yeah, I think it depends if you're still close to them. If it's someone you haven't spoken to in 10 years, I'd be like, well, you know,
Okay,
bygones
10
be
years. Okay,
bygones.
that's a context, but I still.
But I mean,
think
like,
I'll
if you're
do the-
still close, yeah, Hugh, if there's still somebody that you interact with on a somewhat regular basis, if it's like once a month or something, then next time you have a chat, be like, hey, look, this is gonna sound weird, but as an aside, and then, you know, you sort of, because in conversation, you can go with the flow and stuff like that, but you can also just as easily say, well, hey, what about this one thing right here? Let's talk about this for a second. It's totally okay. Which, I think because we've reached a nice lull in the conversation, if everyone would like to take a 5-minute break to sort of rehydrate, sort of bathroom break, that kind of stuff, and then we'll spend maybe a little more time, because I'm not sure how much time you have, Rock, tonight.
I can still spare an hour, I think.
So if you're alright, if everyone's alright for having like a 5-10 minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll try to talk a little bit of video games for like 20-30 minutes after that.
Oh, that sounds sweet.
Cool. Awesome. Right. Well, we'll see you guys soon. Hey, everyone. Sorry, I
Someone
guess...
blew your mind. Just wrote you some, I don't know, love letter or something. Right?
No. I wish. Okay, so are we all good? I think we're all good, right? Everything good on your end? How's chat doing?
On my end,
Hmm?
you mean?
How
Oh,
are people?
Great. Yeah, we have a new person just
Excellent.
came by, just dropped a bomb there. Oh my god, I'm gonna read this for you. She says,
Please.
it's a reality we live in. As much as we can strive for ideal world, it's in heartfelt connections. It's not gonna be that way. The whole concept of networking is based on the idea that connections you make will be used for career advancement and something similar. And I'm like, yeah, that's true, but I don't want the attitude to be like that because again, we're
You can still
striving for
network, but your outcome might be different to somebody else. So let's take because we're on Twitch, we'll take Twitch as an example. People go to TwitchCon to network. Now, for a lot of people, that just might be them looking for other streamers they can collab with or suck up to or find other people to stream with and meld audiences. For me, it'd be more like, can I find somebody that I can be friends with and actually like enjoy doing Twitch stuff together? Is like, if I was just doing it purely for networking for the sake of like, I must get numbers up, I'd be like going around a bunch of different other people, but it would just, I'd be lying to myself. I don't like pretending to be something I'm not, so pretending to like somebody, again, is exhausting. So if the word networking bothers you, just change its outcome for yourself. Dude, in your brain, any word can mean anything you want it to. Just,
oh,
who
yeah.
cares?
I really like the Henry Ford quote. Whether you believe it's true or not, you're right. So it's like an idea that wherever you imagine something works and is, it's gonna be your reality kind of thing. But it's more applies to the fact where you say to yourself whether you can or can't do things. In same scenarios, you're right. If you say I can do it, you can do it. So you can't.
Give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's crazy. Like, we're so quick to just be like, I can't do that, and so we don't bother. Oh, I can't do this voice for this character, so I don't bother. Like, it doesn't help. It does not help at all. But what can you do? What can you do? You can stop doing that. You can stop thinking you can't.
Ellie Bunny is really relating with you in some kind of way because you mentioned you felt cynical. So she says, fair enough, I have been working in event industries for years, so many my views on networking became kind of cynical. So you also mentioned like situations for you where you felt like really cynical.
Yeah. I think it was just a nature of partly my upbringing and how I sort of turned out as a young man. So it was a lot of unlearning to be cynical. Finding yourself... Because, do you know what was funny? I don't know if anyone's heard of Bo Burnham, but was a comedian that I actually quite liked when I was like 18, 19. And a friend of mine was like, do you know what, Harpy? You're really like Bo Burnham. And I was like, oh, why? He was like, because he's just so cynical and like deadpan about stuff. And at the time I was like, yeah, cool. A few years go by and I thought back to that. I was like, that sucks. That's not a good thing to be like happy about. Because just finding problems in the world and just being so defeatist about it doesn't progress you anywhere. It might be good for a comedic routine for an hour, but if you're living your life like that, you're going to end up dissatisfied. You've got to drag yourself out of a rut. I think it's, again, going back to being honest with yourself. Is it something you want? Is it something you want to change? And finding people that you actually can be honest with. Like, not... Like, working in the event industry, there are going to have to be people that are fake that you're going to have to deal with anyway. I can only imagine. But giving your free time to people that are actually genuine and you care about, instead of chasing this golden goose, this carrot on a stick, because you're going to be exhausted. Now, I don't know what the event industry requires you to do. You might have to play ball a little bit, but finding a safety.
Being a little bit of cynical is good, and I started like debating about it, and in my mind, like, maybe being cynical is good when you need to protect yourself from some things.
Being skeptical, I think, is a better way to put it, because cynicism is already like, you've already decided that it's bad, it's not worth it, what's the point? But having a healthier amount of skepticism, be like, okay, well, I'm not going to give this 100%, but I'm going to keep it in mind that if it doesn't go right, then that's okay. Rather than the cynic coming forth and say, well, I know this is going to go wrong, so try to like trade in some cynicism for some skepticism instead, because I don't know. I don't know. I'm playing armchair psychologist again, and I have no degree to, so this is, you know, take everything I say with a fistful of salt.
Oh, likewise.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm talking about.
But it's good. I think it's good to facilitate these conversations, because you can learn things about yourself and about other people. Lol, says Jen.
So how's on your end? How is chat going?
Chat's fine. I think they've disappeared to have some more fun elsewhere, and that's okay, because it's Sunday. You should be able to relax how you want. Which, let me see. I've got about 20-15 minutes before I have to be elsewhere. So.
Oh, okay. So we switched to video games finally, right?
Yeah. So here we are. Hey everyone, we're talking about video games. The first thing is a doozy. The first thing I want to touch on is Fortnite. We all know Fortnite, love it or hate it. They recently have a new event in Fortnite, in which it's a Martin Luther King event, where they have a square in like this hub world they have, where people can go and like watch like this documentary or like Martin Luther King's speech, whilst people are running around as fishmen or people in banana suits shooting guns at each other. When I saw this, I thought this was like a joke that somebody had written for a gaming website. Yeah. No, it's real. Fortnite is hosting like a Martin Luther King thing, and I thought there are better spaces for that, and they have understandably received a lot of backlash. You really think that's the space? Fortnite, a game where you like go around, like a bunch of kids go around just shooting each other to win. You really think that's the space to do it?
Dude, I don't know if it's the space to do it, but it just sparks some sort of like excitement for me to hear this, because like this reminds me of the story where in Minecraft there are these, you can write books, right? And there's servers which holds forbidden books in the world that are locked up in vaults and stuff. Somebody took their time, rewritten all the books from the vault into Minecraft server, and people are reading the stuff and they can get access to it. And it's really intriguing for me when like video game becomes a platform to like experience and go through some like, you know, cultural and other things, and it becomes even easier than real life. And you telling me about Martin Luther, I'm thinking like, oh, that's really cool. I think, yeah, it's interesting. You get to like see things from a different perspective if it's like a video game. Again, I don't know how are we talking about responsibility, what people are getting out of this, but of course some people get offended because they think like, okay, doing these things in a video game is like, you know, downgrading something and making it look foolish or something like that. I mean, for me, as long as some people get touched and reached out to it, and maybe for them it's going to be even inspiration to look upon more about Martin Luther and learn about him. Maybe they never heard of Martin Luther. I'm like, oh, who's this guy? I'm going to check him out. Possible. So I kind of see it positively way. I'm sure there's negative, and forgive me for being so childish and running like, oh, this is awesome.
No. You've taken the most optimistic approach that I've heard so far. So I was really like, I was just enamored with what you were saying, because I was thinking about what everyone else is saying. Like, you know, it's inappropriate. It's not the space for it and stuff like that. It is an odd platform to use, especially. I think a lot of the controversy comes from the company itself, because they're trying to talk themselves up that they are this video game company that's all about like fighting for the little guy, because they also had that they've got this legal case with Apple that they're saying that the whole like thing with people having to go through Apple's store to buy V-Bucks is somehow like against people's human rights. So like Epic is trying to talk themselves up to be this big like, we're for the people, even though it's like it doesn't come across like, hey, we want to share a piece of like our country's history with our players. It's more like, well, look at us, aren't we?
We're so great,
right? So yeah, aren't we the saviors of the planet Earth?
Yeah, what you mentioned now, it's a very, very good perspective to look at, because also, like, it's so interesting that companies these days, they're not only selling things, they're the image and they're the philosophy behind it. And I know from Nike, like Nike also like says like they're supporting women's rights and stuff like that, but you know, still children are working and
But then you
crafting
see
for
how
dollars.
yeah,
Yeah. And
it's
they're
like
just
these
hiding the image.
these huge
Man,
companies I can't take seriously. Whenever they say anything about they're for like this and they're for that, I'm like, I don't believe you.
Exactly. So I guess my point of view, I'm just probably trying to see optimistic stuff and what I can get out of this. So I would use this opportunity to get something that's gonna benefit me from, like, you know, experience something that something's creating like that. But yeah, I'll take it with a grain of salt, let's say. Because
I think that's
again,
a
with Nike,
better way to
right?
look at it.
Supporting women is great, but I know that they're just creating an image, that's all.
Yeah, it's that's I so here's I've been like super like anti this. No, I gotta preface this, like, I am alienated by the fervent passion and love that people have for Disney. That always makes me feel really weird, because people will like love this and attribute their entire childhood to Disney. They're like, oh, Disney can do no wrong, let's give them all of our money.
Yeah.
But knowing like what the company gets up to, like, that made me super like anti like big corporation. Not to say that they shouldn't exist or that they shouldn't make money or anything like that, people shouldn't work for them, but that you shouldn't be praising a company or a corporation that doesn't have a face to a name, because that's sort of like love for something that you don't even know makes me super uncomfortable. And it's like you say with Nike, it's like, sure, you might say like, oh, yo, we've donated to a children's hospital and now all the children are polio free, but don't worry about the children in the other countries that are like working to death.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, it's okay. It's just, I don't know, it's the nature of PR. Which, talking about PR, what a segue. Brand new Saints Row game is getting a reboot, right? I don't know, have you ever played Saints Row?
Judging by the fact that I don't understand what game you're talking about, probably.
Okay.
Tell me about it. Maybe I'm like not sure about
Saints
the name.
Row was a game that sort of came out around the start of Xbox 360, PS3 era. It was the first one was like a bit of a GTA clone, and then the second one branched off. It was like a gangster type street
Something
thug
rings the bell.
GTA.
I'm just checking on the phone as well.
So
yeah, I've seen this game. I did not play it though.
Yeah, so the second one was
myself.
like pretty good. It was a good alternative to Grand Theft Auto because it had that sort of gang warfare, open world type sandboxy thing, but it was also a little bit wacky. The third one stepped the wackiness up, went off the rails, like had a bit more of a cartoonish art style. The fourth one went to the goddamn moon with the wackiness. Like, it started to go on about alien. So we've gone from street thugs trying to like fight other gangs in a sort of semi-believable story with some wackier elements and minigames, to we're celebrities, we rob banks and people take pictures with us, and aliens have invaded. And now they're rebooting it, and a lot of people are unhappy because it's like all these street thugs in this new Saints Row game. The art style looks a bit Fortnite-y, so it's that sort of generic current gen art style that everything is sort of like kind of realistic proportions but with a cartoony aesthetic. So everyone looks like that, and these saints look kind of like, everyone's saying they look like millennial hipsters. So like people that have just come out of university, and they're going to be the next street thugs taking on big street gangs, and everyone's a bit like, what? Hold on a minute. So if I can, where's the trailer? So they've gone through. Yeah.
Let me like go back step ahead. Like, so they already did something similar before, but they're now like taking that idea again and making it into a new game. Is that what I'm getting? Because you mentioned something that they already started with, like all those, you know, hippie kind of gangs and aliens and stuff.
So it went from a semi-believable like gang war story to off the rails in the last few games. Now they're rebooting it, but they want it to be like you're a street gang again, like fighting other gangs to like cement your place in the world as like you are this, like you own this turf. But the gangsters that they showed in the trailer are like people that have just come off of Twitter or Tumblr or something like that. You know, the sort of the look. They don't look like gangsters, right? They look like people,
ordinary people
we might go to work with. And some people are like, what? And so the devs have said, look, the tone of the past games don't really fit today. I can understand that to a point. They don't want to get cancelled. They don't want people to say, oh, this is not inclusive. This is horrible. Because the earliest Saints games, there were some nasty characters in there, but it fit the world because it was a nasty place.
Yeah.
So they're going to, like, skirt that line of, like, everything's, like, gumdrops and rainbows, and we're going to, like, be a gang and stuff. And I've never seen PR double down from a dev studio to be like, no, you guys just have to wait and listen. You're going to love the game, I swear. And everyone's like, nah, dude, I don't think this is for me. And so they'll be like, well, haters gonna hate. They're now brushing off the criticism or the skepticism as like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, as a dev, how do you balance the like, okay, this is clearly isn't what the fans want, but we're gonna tell them it's what they want. Like, what? How do you navigate that? Like,
it's a very bad behavior, really. Like, as a dev myself, I would not do that because, you know, you listen to your audience and what they want. It's not like not what you want, unless like, yes, there are some ethical things that I remember myself even doing that, like, but again, it was not coming from people, it was coming from the superiors of what I should have done, and I chose deliberately not to do that because it just felt really weird. So maybe I'll save that for later if it will be interesting, but for now, just answering, no, like, how our games are developed nowadays, nobody really makes a game, releases, and see how it goes. Whenever someone's developing a game, they go through phases, iterations, they test it, they show the audience and see the reactions. It's never like, oh, well, this is a new thing, let's see how people will react. No one does that. So yeah, deliberately choosing and sort of convincing people, no, that's bad. I wouldn't buy it. Like,
it's been a strange one, especially because the dev team's last project failed quite spectacularly. Nobody really bought it, and it forced the company to sort of restructure in a little way. So this is, in a sense, their last hurrah. And before the game has even any gameplay shown, them sort of telling the fans like, "You're just haters," or "You wait and see." It's like,
that's the same thing as hating the haters. But in this situation, I understand, like, it's a very normal human thing to neglect something that you've been working so long for. You just don't want to accept it. You don't want to accept that what you did was like.
But that's the weirdest thing, is that if your company has its presence online, you're not an independent creator. You're not a YouTuber. You're not a streamer. You're that immediate thing of like, oh, you guys are maybe unhappy. Post that can be acceptable because you're human. But this is like a company. You know, you have to think about what you post before you post it. It's like, well, you need to. I think you would have to be a bit more calculating about how you put stuff out there. Just sort of brush it off and be like, well, you guys don't know what you're talking about. Because obviously, gamers are very passionate people. They can be very angry people sometimes, very opinionated.
Yeah.
So everyone's pointing out your cat, the Void Loaf. They're saying, good loaf, rock, kitty, cat, good loaf.
His name is Mao. He's a couch guy now, joining the stream.
Nice.
Yeah, we saved this kitty from the streets. We caught it like a Pokemon.
You just threw like a ball at it.
Every day I would come by to the same spot, just look for the cat and try to like befriend it, because we wanted to save it before the winter comes, because the vets told that a lot of kitties actually die because of cold. So yeah, we wanted to take like this homeless cat, because we fell in love with it.
But he's a good addition to the family, yeah?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Awesome. So, any I'm gonna have to wrap it up because I realize it's getting a bit close.
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, as a dev, you wouldn't do that. You have the intelligence to know that the people that buy your games, I mean that's the thing, right? Is that they'll also say don't like it, don't buy it, and then they'll, no doubt, some journalists will be like, this game didn't sell because gamers hate this or gamers hate that. that's a topic for another discussion someday, maybe,
Yeah.
like the differences between the consumer and like the journalists and devs. But any last words about what we've talked about?
Yeah. How much time do you have?
Wisdom? I'll give you 30 seconds.
Give it your best shot, guys. Put your minds together.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap up my stream tonight, guys. I don't know if Rock, you're gonna do something after this, but I'm gonna post again the link to his Twitch channel. If you've enjoyed any of the conversations we've had tonight, Rock is definitely the guy to go to continue that. The dude loves to have open conversations about all sorts. Genuinely, really enjoy just having a chat with him. So thank you for putting up with my really terrible scheduling.
Dude, perfect. Just like
No,
I
really,
like
it's
that.
I really appreciate you like taking some time out of your weekend to come and have a chat with me. It's been really, really cool. Hopefully your chat has also enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you for the follow already.
So yeah, guys, take care of yourselves. Have some fun with whatever you're doing. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Good night, everybody.
Okay. Bye, Harpy.
Bye-bye.